If this is your first time or your usual time with us, then welcome to XboxEra. We provide a platform for the Xbox community from our forums and Discord, our main site with the latest news and reviews, and our podcasts like the XboxEra podcast and You Had Me at Halo. We exist, our focus on the Xbox platform front and center, because so many media publications out there don't. We love this community and believe Xbox really can be the very best place to play. If you love what we do, help us. You can join as a YouTube member, or even better, subscribe to us on Patreon. You help us grow and get plenty of perks to enjoy as a token of our appreciation. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as always, thanks for sticking around. This podcast is brought to you by Patreon executive producer TornRaptor.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 165 of the XboxEra podcast. As you can see, John is not hosting today. I'll be your host, Special Nick. We have Jesse with us at the bottom of the screen, who is producing at the same time. I still think he should be the voice of God, but everyone seems to want him on screen. Somehow I lost that battle.
We had no control.
We also have a somewhat special guest, Jez Corden. Jez, how are you, mate, from Windows Central?
I'm good, man. How are you doing, me old pal?
Me old mucker. I'm doing okay. You had a big week.
I did, yeah.
You had a big week in LA. How'd you go?
It was a lot of hard work because I was also in Poland. So the start of the week I was in Poland, and then I flew straight home, and then one day at home, and then straight to LA. So it was quite a lot of work. I'm still catching up, but I had to take a little day off, a little break today, and we'll get back on it tomorrow with some editorials.
I heard a rumor, though. A little birdie told me that you were carrying cans of beans around with you in LA. Is that true?
Yes. So this is actually Sarah Bond's fault. So Sarah Bond took me aside at one of the events and said, "I've got a gift for you," and she presented me a box with 8 tins of beans in it.
Heinz? Were they Heinz?
Of course, Heinz beans, of course.
The Heinz baked beans? Yeah.
And I was like, Sarah, this is amazing, but I can't take them on the plane with me because I don't have check-in luggage. And we decided it would be best if I distributed them amongst the people. So I was running around LA with a crate of beans, just giving them away to random people. And it was really interesting, like the psychology that would emerge when you're trying to give someone a can of beans. Because yeah, exactly. So some people were just like I'm not going to accept these beans, and some people were just too polite to say no, because nobody really wants to carry around a heavy can of beans, right? So
that's right.
Danny Pena from and this is an interesting dichotomy of personalities right here. Danny Pena from Gamertag Radio, he flat out refused the beans, but Paris Lily, his co-host, was just too damn polite to say no. So Paris got a can of beans. And I thought that was really interesting, a really interesting divergence of personalities there. Well, that's probably why they got such a good chemistry on camera, right? But it was a fun time. We had a lot of laughs and got a lot of work done, found out a lot of interesting things about the future of Xbox, and it was just a good week all around.
It did look like fun. I'm spewing we didn't go. Jesse, John, and I were going to go. We were this close to having our tickets booked, and then when E3 got cancelled, and then when we weren't sure if the Xbox show would just be like an in-theater thing or recorded or live, we were just like, you know what? It's a lot of money, especially for me, to spend on something that we weren't sure of.
It's not cheap, and it was a very different kind of atmosphere because, like, when you go to E3, historically, you have loads of meetings with different teams, and you get to play like dozens and dozens of games. I think Jeff Keighley is trying to revive that a bit with these Summer Game Fest play days. And from what I've heard, he did a really great job of it. It's very small right now, but I think in years to come, Jeff will probably revive that sort of essence of what E3 is with third parties coming on board and stuff. Because the ESA, just like who ran E3, they killed it themselves. They were asking publishers for just tons of money, and publishers are just like, hang on a sec, why are we giving these guys tons of money for no reason when we can just host our own show around the corner? I don't think Jeff Keighley will make that kind of mistake. So maybe E3 will come back as Summer Game Fest in the years ahead, and we'll see. And hopefully we get to hang out. Me and the XboxEra guys, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You can ride my coattails some more.
What is it?
I applied for the Summer Game Fest things, and we were in if I was there, but they didn't. Obviously, I didn't have the freaking money to fly, so I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's not cheap to fly to LA, and LA is just not cheap in general.
And if you're not doing it way in advance.
I don't know why Rand didn't go. I think Rand was probably of the mindset that it's very expensive as well, probably. But I think he regrets it.
Even for him, he's in the US.
Yeah, it's bad in the US, man. Yeah. I told you, like flying there. If you're not booking months in advance, it's still like $600-700, even if I'm only going, within the country.
Is that all?
Yeah, but Rand's a YouTube millionaire as well.
Oh, yeah.
You have to remember that factor. So Rand was just being cheap, really.
Yeah, tell me about it. Jesus. It's cheap as.
Cheap.
God. So how, so we've had the show now. Actually, you know what? We won't go straight to the show. There's actually, speaking of Rand and Jez, there's something I want to ask Jez. So, Jez, I got Rand on board in the last couple of weeks. I need to now get you on board. Have you ever had this before?
No, I have not.
Control, Jez.
Is this an ad read?
Yes, it is. I'm telling you, mate. I got Rand on board. Rand ordered some, and he liked it. And now it's your turn to order some this week. Yes, it is. It's available in the UK. It's available all over Europe. You just got to go to drinkcontrol.com/XboxEra and use our code for 10% off.
I'll do it.
XboxEra is our code.
I'll do it.
It's one. So we all know Nick is normally wrong all the time. He's got the worst opinions. No one agrees with them in general. This is literally the one time he is correct. It is very good.
I've not heard of it, but I will use the code. What was the code again?
XboxEra.
XboxEra control. Okay, I'll use
CTRL, drink control. CTRL, like on your keyboard.
Catered to real life.
It's so bloody nice. It's so good.
I'll do it.
But anyway, we've had the show now. We've had the showcase. Everyone had their live reaction shows. Now that we've had all week to digest and view the show again in the cold light of day, how did we feel about it now? Nearly a week on.
I think genuinely it's probably the most important showcase I've ever done. On reflection,
the most important. That's an interesting choice of words.
In my time, because I actually didn't really even know E3 existed until about 2012-ish. So I started taking a deeper interest in gaming around that time, and it was because of Windows Phone, really, hilariously. Yep. I was always a gamer my whole life. But I was more like, I wasn't engaged with websites. I wasn't reading websites or reading blogs or doing anything like that. I was just sort of got my information from word of mouth, friends telling me games that were good. Like most people, to be honest. Because most gamers don't really engage like that. And what we do is kind of like a bubble. Mm-hmm. But after that, out of all the E3s that I've seen since then, I haven't seen any from the 360 generation or anything like that. I think in our community and in our bubble, at least in the sort of the console war bubble or whatever you want to call it, Microsoft came into this show with a huge amount of negative energy. The CMA blocked the deal and it looks like the deal's going to fall through. you know, which, you know, a lot of people sort of, you know, took the ABK deal as something Microsoft had to do in order to stay competitive, because they couldn't, you know, and after Redfall, the kind of thought was, can they even make their own shit? Can they even, are they even managing the studios properly? Are they even capable of making games? Like, are they being too soft on the studios, or they're not giving the studios the support they need? There was all these kind of questions after Redfall, because it was like, you know, how could this happen? How could we still be in this situation, like after like stuff like Crackdown and stuff like that, which again launched 6 out of 10, and like Sea of Thieves at launch as well. You know, Sea of Thieves at launch was not particularly well received either. So it's kind of like you start wondering, your mind starts wandering into this place of like, is there a systemic issue with Xbox? And I think at the showcase, they really proved that there isn't. You know, and I think like they showed off games that just look amazing, like Starfield looks amazing, and Clockwork Revolution looks amazing. I know some people weren't very hot on the visuals, but I think Avowed looks like it's going to play really well. And if it's at least Obsidian. As good as Outer Worlds, it's Obsidian. And if it's at least as good as Outer Worlds, then I'll be very happy, because I love the Outer Worlds, and you know, it carried that sort of Mass Effect tradition where, you know, your companions a really big part of the story and that kind of thing. And then you've got like Hellblade, visually at least looks incredible. We still don't really know how it plays, but it visually looks incredible. And people were out here saying like, is the Fable gameplay even real? That game looks so good. Like I myself, because I was only sort of half watching the show, because I was, at first time I watched it, I was in the press room in LA, and I was sort of working at the same time, coordinating our team. So I wasn't really paying full attention. And I was like, oh, they've done CGI for Fable. Okay, fair enough. I wasn't even aware that it was like in-engine footage, and that some of the, you know, the combat moves actually represented gameplay. So and then you had
I took it as like a cutscene style of thing.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean,
the times where she's fighting in the forest and stuff, that is supposed to be direct gameplay from an Xbox Series X.
I don't know if I buy that.
Either way, it shows they can do photorealism, because that was another narrative, that like they can't do photorealism like, you know, Horizon and and some of those other games. They can't do like those, you know, cinematic action games, and they proved that wrong as well. So I think, and also even going to like Japanese support, they had like Capcom announced a brand new IP on the stage.
I think that was a big deal. That's a big deal. Like Capcom getting their new IP, that Path of the Goddess. I don't think enough people are talking about that.
I agree. I agree completely. Like it's so creative, and the fact that they chose the Xbox stage they chose the Xbox stage over their own event to present that.
Yeah,
which shows a lot of support, you know, and belief in the Xbox platform. So they answered lots of questions that the community at large had, and lots of questions from like detractors who criticized them. Photorealism, support from Japan, and you know, single player games, Starfield actually looking good instead of, you know, being a mess or whatever. I mean, the jury's still out on how buggy it will be, but Matt Booty's gone on record saying it'll be the least buggy Bethesda game ever. You know, and that's a bold claim, because people will call him up on that if he's wrong. So I think on that basis, even though like kind of you know, there was no mind-blowing nostalgia moment, I think, and there's the Halo community. That's
what disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah, we all
kind
know
of
you
what
and your
I
nostalgia,
looked for.
Nick. Well, yeah, you would have been like if GoldenEye a bit. No, you would have been all.
If something like, I don't know, if out of nowhere they brought back a Banjo, or if they brought back a Jet Force Gemini or something like that, that nostalgic hardcore gamer sort of announcement. That's the sort of thing I was sort of looking for.
I mean, I think that's like, you know, that I think that will come eventually, but I think like they answered so many damn questions, you know, and about their management, and I think that's just so important. I think like they've still got, especially if you're a Halo fan, there's still like a lot they can do there, and I think like if you're you know, Gears of War fans are still waiting for something good and all that kind of stuff. And I do think that those answers to those questions will come. But I think like detractors right now, they're spinning their wheels in the mud, trying to find something to latch onto to criticize about the show. And there's just nothing credible. They haven't been able to come up with anything credible because Microsoft covered all their bases. So
I don't know.
On that basis, I do
think
it was super important.
Did you watch the Dreamcast guy's live stream? He was breaking it down pretty good. He knew exactly what was bad about the show. They're doing walk cycles, guys. They're doing walk cycles. It's like, yes, people walk.
That was so weird. That was so
It's
weird.
playing to your audience, and there's the only people you've really seen be negative are either people that just in general have been very negative lately.
Well,
In
the
actual
PlayStation
industry.
fanboys.
Not even like there were industry people I saw who generally trend negative and just didn't believe anything said in the show. But then the more fanboy streams were pretty much the only ones I saw that were desperately trying to make a negative narrative, and none of them have stuck.
Well,
I
like
still think
the
there was some
mainstream
odd
media,
things,
like,
though.
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I still think there was some odd things, though. Like I don't know. Do we see it as even a small red flag that Hellblade 2's showing was even less than the previous showing? Like,
yeah, that is a big question mark for me as someone who, like, because nobody says that game isn't pure art, but like, unlike Rand, I want more gameplay from my games. So I always troll Rand about this because Hellblade's one of Rand's favorite games, and I always troll him as like, yeah, it's not really a game though, is it? It's more like a movie. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I just joke around about it and stuff. But I would have liked to have seen how Hellblade, if at all, moves beyond that, if it even does move beyond that. I mean, obviously they've got combat designers on the team, and I believe some of them even worked at CD Projekt Red formerly or something. So if I'm remembering correctly,
they've built that team out a lot, which makes me think like we'll get. I think that for these big things like this and Avowed, we'll probably get directs like we kind of did with Starfield, smaller.
Yeah.
Because nothing's as big as Starfield, but I think they're just going to constantly have so many different things to show that like the showcase can be more of a here's what's going to be coming at the end of this year and then little snippets of the next year or two. But then as things get closer, especially if they're in the first half of the year, that's when you start getting more. Like we got a whole Forza Monthly right after the stream, and oddly enough during the extended showcase on Tuesday that went way deeper into everything. So
yeah, they even talked about Halo, didn't they, after the event?
Yeah, Halo went like all week, pretty much.
Yeah. But like with regard to Hellblade, I think like what we might be seeing is that they've sort of front loaded the development with the cinematics because like during COVID, they probably couldn't do a lot of that stuff, and also they're having a new studio being built at the same time. So like they've probably done a lot of the mocap stuff initially, and what they've probably got a whole boatload of mocap done for the movie parts of the game, and they're probably like polishing the combat up now for those sequences in between those cutscenes.
Yeah, she said we just finished up the shoot. Like I think they're done mocap now.
Yeah, so they're probably thinking like we want the combat to look more polished before we present it.
Maybe,
but they've probably just got a lot of they've got a lot of movie sequences they can show. So I think that was more a case of like, what have they actually got to show right now? And they've probably just, we've got movies to show, but not polished gameplay yet. I think the gameplay will come.
I'm sure it will. I found it odd that a year and a half or more ago, we got that trailer with the giant troll.
Which was made as a demo, though. It wasn't like pulled just directly from what they had already done for the game. They kind of talked about how they spent a month making that troll for it. So I do think they're at the point where it's like, well, when you're at a point where you have the assets, like Booty said on the E3 show, like he saw most of what was in the Clockwork Revolution trailer a year ago. Like, so they want people to make demos of the stuff they have ready. So as Jez is saying, it might just be that they're still polishing up the combat and they want it to look really damn good before they show it off because it's so far out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Also, I mean, we were talking about how Capcom revealed their new IP. So did Atlus. Atlus revealed theirs there too.
Yes, they did.
Again, I feel like there's not enough talk about that aspect. The fact that Capcom and Atlus both revealed brand new games at the Xbox show. I feel like that's just absolutely no one's making a big deal out of
Fantasy
that.
was announced 6 years ago. So it's something people have been waiting on for a very long time, and it just shows up here out of nowhere. And then, of course, there's huge panic because they have their thing where, okay, we'll hatch you at the showcase, and then we just get a couple days of exclusive marketing. We even had a guy in our forums like losing his mind over it. It's like, yes, it's coming to everything except Switch because the more powerful stuff doesn't go there from them lately. But yeah, It looks bonkers.
If you're into that sort of thing.
For compared to like Persona, it's the similar style, but it's a similar style of game with a very different like fantasy graphical setting.
Yeah.
Well, the Persona games are like modern fantasy settings, right? Which the sort
You're
of
all
going
school
to going to school, and there's sort of like a high school nostalgia element to it. But this is like almost going up against the likes of Trials, or even like what's it called now? That Nintendo franchise.
Yeah, Fire Emblem.
What it's called.
Xenoblade or Fire Emblem? Fire Emblem.
Well, both of them maybe. And then also even Final Fantasy, like classic Final Fantasy with the turn-based stuff. So I'm pretty excited for it personally. As a turn-based guy who laments an era of now we've got Devil May Cry Final Fantasy. There's nothing wrong with. I just think it should be a spin-off.
Yeah.
I'd rather the mainline games were turn-based, but that's just me being an old man, I guess. Although not as old as like Nick and Rand, at least.
Not as old as me. How did you feel? Because I again, we now get to see the show in the cold light of day. Probably my favorite game, and the one I'm looking forward to the most from that show, is probably South of Midnight. How did you feel about South of Midnight?
I thought it looked stunning, like the sort of stop motion style.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that in a game before. Are there any other games that have done that sort of stop motion? I'm really intrigued to see if that will be in gameplay or if it's just in
Okay,
cutscenes.
so it's funny you say that. I hadn't seen it before, and when I saw that trailer, I'm like, man, I really hope they can pull that off in the game.
Yeah, I was thinking.
And then I happened to see on Twitter something that came up on my For You feed was a little indie samurai game that had exactly that. The stop motion visual style in their game. It was like a 2.5D samurai game. Kind of like Trek to Yomi, but a more action-based.
What was it called? Do you remember?
Oh, God. Oh, now you're testing me.
And
Let me try and find it.
Surely you favorited it, right?
Did I? Oh, I should have. I should have.
You should have done.
I should have bookmarked it.
Yeah, that's what bookmarks are for, man.
I should have bookmarked it. But somehow in this game, they seem to pull it off. And in my opinion, it worked. I think it actually...
Was it the spirit of the samurai?
That might be it. Spirit... Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yes, Spirit of the Samurai. Is a dark 2D action adventure set in mythological Japan. And I will send this tweet to Jesse.
I'm already playing a video of it.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's on screen now, and you can see it there. It's got that sort of stop motion-y look to it. And I reckon they pulled it off. And this is just an indie game. So my guess is Compulsion should be able to pull it off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
It looked amazing. Like the tone was like just really on point, unique, and I think what that speaks to is like this idea that Rand was saying this on Xbox 2 yesterday, that when Microsoft bought Compulsion, he didn't get it. He was like, why they're buying Compulsion? We Happy Few was not that good. It was a bit of a mess. And, the contrast as well didn't really blow up or anything. But this is like, it kind of calls back to something I'm sure Phil has said before, where he was kind of like, we want to build these studios up, and, we look for studios that have got something, and clearly they've got something. Like, because even though We Happy Few was, a bit of a mess as a game, it still had this just mood. It just had this amazing mood, and that trailer, the initial trailer was just like, it captured the imagination of people. And even though the game itself like didn't really deliver, they had like this, they were able to portray this sort of atmosphere very, very well and on point and uniquely. Like I'll always remember that We Happy Few trailer with the joy pills and stuff like that. And I actually kind of hope that they come back to that universe eventually as a Brit. But
did you go through all the DLC in that one?
I didn't play it very
I
much
did a
myself.
gold edition review for all the DLC, and like the base game is a little weak because you could see their survival randomized origins in it. But first DLC good, second DLC very good, and then the third DLC is excellent. And it's like you see the progression of them having Microsoft money behind it as they're putting those out, and that's what made me really excited for their next thing, which we finally know what it is.
Maybe I'll go back and check it out at some point, but quite clearly they're sort of. I mean, we need to see gameplay first. I mean, it could be another case of the trailer great, gameplay not, but I don't think it will be. I think there's every chance that we'll see a new compulsion out of this, similarly to how like In Exile has sort of moved from being a CRPG dev, which they make very good CRPGs, but even Wasteland 3 has this sort of jank to it in some ways. Even though the systems are really good and the story is really good, there's still like an aspect of jank to it. But like Clockwork Revolution looked just so damn polished, and like even like the early combat sequences they showed off just looked really good. So if we see like In Exile and Compulsion go up to that level, that's what excited me, and I guess we'll see. We need to see some gameplay first.
Seeing these really talented devs get to finally make their dream games, which is what Phil always pitched it as, is very exciting. When studios you like so much at the smaller level, to see them get to push a little harder.
Yeah. I think it was always just this... Sorry, go on.
No, that's all right. I was going to say, I did read that interview. So Compulsion did an interview with Xbox Newswire. And they mentioned that, I believe they mentioned that it's a single-player, traditional third-person action-adventure game, South of Midnight, which is very, very exciting for everyone. I just, again, like everything, though, I'm hoping it's a bit more focused, a bit more linear. I just don't want it to be this massive, open-world, bloated thing. Like, I feel like they're trying to tell a proper story with this game. So I think it would be nice if this is a somewhat more linear.
You see, with
what kind of scope? What kind of game would you compare it to that you'd like it to be like?
I'd like it to be closer. I'm not saying the same, but I'd like it to be closer to something like Hellblade, the first Hellblade, as opposed to being something like, I don't know, what Uncharted has become, and God of War has become, and all these others have become, which are just games that
isn't Hellblade like 3 hours long.
That's why I said not the same. That's why I said closer to Hellblade than something like
Nick's
God
like
of War.
A 10 to 15 good hours, and he's happy. Like at the top end.
I'd even say 8 to 10.
I said top
I'd even
end.
say 8 to 10 good hours. Yeah, 8 to 10 good hours.
You're not a busy guy.
Sorry,
he's got to play Rocket League and Fortnite.
Oh, you got to play Rocket League and Fortnite.
We're not all lucky enough to get. We're not all lucky enough to get to do this full time, Jez. We're not all that lucky.
What are you talking about? XboxEra is a huge website.
Oh yeah,
well,
yeah.
I do it full time without pay.
Oh, rip.
Yeah.
Pay the guy, man. What are you doing?
I can't complain. I'm okay.
I don't get any money. I get nothing.
Well, yeah, because you're spending everything you have on Mac. It's very obvious. You can spend $15,000 on Macintosh. You don't need any.
You
on
use
Mac computers. Yeah, I use Macs.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
I am knee deep.
Reviews.
I am knee deep in Apple's ecosystem. Absolutely knee deep.
Sickening. How do you live with yourself?
I had a Surface, and it kept letting me down.
Well, yeah, I mean, even I only recommend Surface for a very specific type of user. Like,
yeah,
I use Surface is great as a travel companion because they're so small and so light, and the battery is pretty good. But I honestly I wouldn't recommend it for pretty much.
I had a Surface Book. I got a top end Surface Book with 32 gig of RAM, the whole lot.
Yeah,
and it was having problems where if you took the actual tablet away from the keyboard and then reconnected it, it would have trouble recognizing that there was a GPU. So you'd have to disconnect it again and then reconnect it again. Yeah. And there were times when I'd get up in the morning to do the podcast and John and Jesse would get a message from me saying, my Surface isn't turning on. It's just not turning on at all.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah,
the final straw. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, I used to have Surface Book as well, and I quit Surface for similar reasons. Like, for me, it was the thermals, the throttling on them was so bad, and like in the summer weather, the kind of summer we get in Europe now, thanks to climate change or whatever you want to call it. The Surface just ain't viable. They're just not. They don't have enough, because they are designed in a lab that has air conditioning, and it's just like, you ain't designing these for regular people. These are designed for like people who have air conditioning. So I've gone Razor Blade now, which has like 4 huge fans in it, and I much prefer that. But tangent,
actually, yes, very much a tangent. Yeah, Reese in the chat's right. My money always does go to controllers, like the Starfield controller.
Can't wait to play it. I know.
Oh, that thing. I mean, I don't care about the game, but like the controller is like.
I need to call you out for this.
What?
I just don't. I don't believe you.
Don't believe me about what?
That you don't care about the game. I don't believe you.
Oh, Jez,
I don't believe
me. You do not know me very well at all.
How can you watch that?
I have zero interest. I have zero interest in a space RPG that's going to be like 150 hours and.
It doesn't have to be. You can get through the golden path in those games in like 15 or 20 hours at the most. You can mainline it.
I think they said the main story campaign is 30 hours. I think they said you don't have to build ships. You don't have to build outposts.
You
like
just get the
base building. The base building of Fallout was completely optional. It's just there for people who want to role play.
No.
Honestly, don't just close yourself off to that game because you've set up some arbitrary restriction for yourself. That will be something.
Not an arbitrary restriction.
It is.
When I see game, like I haven't played Skyrim. I haven't played Fallout.
Played it. That's the point.
No,
Nick doesn't play good games.
I'm just not interested in those kinds of games. I
don't get it.
As soon as I hear a game is like, oh my god, you can play this game for 100 hours and blah blah, I'm like, I am not interested at all. I just zero interest whatsoever. But too long, too involved. Like, I started playing State of Decay 2, for example, back when that came out. And I was like, this just feels like a second job. This just feels like a second job to me. It's like, oh, the water's not working. And, oh, go get these resources to fix this thing and go get that. I'm like, I already work a real job in my real life. I don't need a job when I'm playing my video games. So I just stopped. I was like, I'm out. I was like, I don't want to do this.
Rocket League, you're pretending to be a professional athlete driving a car.
It's the best. I bought the Transformers pack. Did you see the Transformers pack for Rocket League? Where you're Bumblebee, and when you win, he transforms into the robot and does cool poses. It was so good. No. I love it so much.
No.
It is the absolute best. But the controller, though, yes, the controller is beautiful. And remember how everyone
tried to... Why would you buy the controller if you're not interested in the game?
To sell it later on.
Because it's a beautiful controller. Look at it. It's like stunning.
I don't understand you, Nick.
Isn't it funny? Everyone tried to tell me this controller was fake when I told everyone it was real. They were like, oh, nah, they've already debunked it. I'm like, they haven't debunked shit. This is a real controller. And everyone's like, oh, nah, I think it's fake. The funny thing is, I ordered one online. And I'm not gonna name the company because I don't want them to think that I'm bagging them. But when the controller came to me, it was unsealed, which I was not happy about because I wasn't planning on using the controller. So I rang them and said, look, this thing is unsealed. They're like, no worries, swap it over at one of our stores, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, no problem. But I was like, you know what? This thing's open. So I opened it up, got a look at it, got the free theme on all my Xboxes, so I can have the Starfield theme using the controller.
It comes with a theme?
Yeah, it's a pretty
it unlocks a theme on your dashboard.
Oh, snap. I might have to buy one myself. And
it's like a topographical map.
Just message Assembly and they'll send you one. They're sending John one, they're sending Grub one, they're sending everyone one.
It is a beautiful controller. It's probably top 3 alongside like the Titanfall one and I don't know, maybe the Forza or the Sea of Thieves one. It's like right up there with those controllers. And the headset's good too. Jesse's got the headset.
What can I hear music?
Yeah, I know. I can hear the Starfield music as well.
Yeah. God, this headset is... In this headset, they didn't say it in the thing, but it's all custom sounds. Every connect, microphone turn off and on is all like your ship sounds. It's really fucking good. Oh, it's so good.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So yes, everyone seems to be calling me out this week. It's not just Jez. Did you see that dude? What's his name? Oh, is it OhNotItsAlex?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? I have this thing during my work day. I like to have noise in the background, whether it's music, whether it's sports radio, whether it's podcasts, whether it's whatever. I like to have stuff on in the background. And sometimes I'll just put on like those shit YouTubers that just like stream themselves talking shit. And sometimes that turns out to be OhNotItsAlex. So anyway, there was a video of his where he was making fun of PlayStation fanboys, and a few of those have been going around, and they're quite funny. Like Gaz did a couple of funny ones. Yeah. That Fratango, he did a couple of funny ones. So I'm like, I'll watch Alex's. Why not? And I've got it on in the background. So I'm working away, and all of a sudden I hear him say, "How cringe is it that there's like websites dedicated to one console?" He's like, and I'm looking at you, XboxEra. You're not getting out of this, you clowns. And I'm like, who the fuck is this cunt? Like, what's this guy talking about? Like, I couldn't believe it. He just took this random shot at us for no apparent reason. And I'm just like, dude, what is your deal? What is your deal? I don't know. I know he's got that whole himbo shtick thing that he does. And I understand. Like, he probably saw this and felt somewhat threatened. So I understand that angle on it. But, like, dude, come on, man. Like,
oh, God.
Maybe we should take it as a compliment. Maybe we should take it as a compliment that he called us out and not, like, Windows Central or something.
Well, we cover two platforms. We cover PC.
Oh, right.
I cover PC and I do VR. So we got 3 platforms. Damn.
Well, we don't cover VR.
We don't
cover PlayStation because nobody on the team cares about it. I'm not gonna force myself to cover something I don't care about.
Fair enough.
It's like asking a YouTuber, why don't you cover food or something?
Yeah, most PlayStation sites don't seem to cover PlayStation much either. They mostly just talk about Xbox.
Oh, they're getting messy.
Yeah, they talk about Xbox.
Nintendo sites will cover Nintendo because they've got a lot of stuff that just constantly coming out. But with PlayStation, you get a couple of quick hits. You get a few weeks to really talk about a new thing, and then you're just stuck waiting and then complaining.
Yeah, I do like Alex though. I wouldn't take him too seriously. I don't think he was being mean. I haven't seen the video, but
I don't know.
I
reckon he can go and get stuffed. I reckon he can stick it. I reckon he can absolutely stick it. We had a $2 super chat from Pioneer earlier. Didn't say anything. He just gave us $2. So thank you very much, Pioneer. Faisal, welcome, Jez. Looking forward to a shrimp-filled combo. This shrimp.
Lovely.
Jez addressed the shrimp. Like the last time we had him on, or the time before. Jez has been on a few times now. Jez addressed the shrimp, and people still, even though it's been clarified, people still go on about it.
What's been clarified?
It's quite annoying. You clarified where the shrimp came from.
I still don't know. I'm waiting for you to tell us, man.
What do you mean? Don't be stupid.
You know what he means? He means if we can hit 200 likes, we're at 350 people watching, we're under 100 likes. If we can get to 200 likes, that Nick will be forced to finally explain
to reveal the secret of the shrimp.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. We're all still waiting, Nick.
The shrimp is because Jez is an alcoholic. That's why.
Shrimp. Oh well, that's a lie. I was going to say I haven't had a drink in months, but I got really wasted in LA.
Okay.
But before then, I hadn't had a drink in months. I have very specific rules for drinking, but when I do drink, I drink quite a lot.
Now, there was also an extended showcase. Did we catch that?
Oh yeah,
I did not actually, so I haven't watched it yet.
I co-streamed it. It was good for what an extended showcase could be. I thought Tina Amini as the host was really good, and it was
She's from IGN, right?
Yeah, she used to be the editor-in-chief at IGN. Yeah, she was the big wig. So they had like a little deep dive into some stuff like Avowed and Hellblade had another little thing. They had Keanu Reeves on again to talk more about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, he was. It was like a full-on interview with Keanu Reeves, wasn't it?
For being a corporate-run stream, they were good interview questions, which is very much like not the norm in a situation like that. So it was nice.
I
to
noticed
see.
that since she came on board, Microsoft hired a bunch of journalists for Xbox Wire as well.
Mhm.
I've noticed that they're still quite corporate. You know, they still have to toe the line. You're never gonna hear any real criticism from Xbox Wire, of course.
Mhm.
But
obviously,
it's become more fun to read as a site,
More useful. Yeah.
more useful. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool to see. You know. But
well, yeah, they did the
get
interview with Compulsion. That's where I got the info for South of Midnight, from that interview that they did with Compulsion. It was really good.
Yeah, nice.
And there was something else at that show, Jesse, wasn't there? Neon White got announced for Xbox and Game Pass. Where did we hear about that? God.
Yes, it was.
Annapurna, huh? Annapurna tried to debunk me. Mate, that came back to bite him, didn't it?
I don't even know what that is. Was that a PlayStation game? I think?
That was Switch. And
Neon
PC.
White was a Switch game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
right.
it's the short run-based one, little first-person shooter. You get cards you can use mid-run, and it's all about the leaderboards.
Yeah.
Oh.
It got announced for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 back in December, and then on the Christmas episode with Jeff Grubb, I had a rumor mill where I'd been told that Neon White was coming to Xbox and probably launching into Game Pass. Here we are, 6 months later.
Well,
Neon White.
Wow, Nick knows his shit these days, Nick.
Yeah,
where's the Gears
mate.
collection, Nick?
It's on its way, and you know it is. You know it is. Don't even act like you don't know it is.
I don't know shit. I don't know
Don't
shit.
even try and act.
The only thing I heard was that it wasn't real. When you first talked about it, I asked people, and people
because
said
when
no.
I first talked about it, it was early. It hadn't been development hadn't started yet when I mentioned it.
Okay.
So if you're talking about was it in active development when I first mentioned it, no, it was not. It was not at all, and I can't say what stage it was at without revealing who my source is and getting them in a lot of trouble. They already. Anyway, I won't say anymore because they might be watching and they'll get very upset with me. But yes, now we also had, as well as the extended showcase, my man Jeff Grubb also had Phil on his couch
And the booty.
as well. The giant bomb thing, yes, and they had Matt Booty as well. We got sort of the standard sort of question and answer format there. One thing that I think a lot of people have sort of gravitated towards or have been clutching onto from that interview is Phil's excitement for what id is working on.
It's got to be
Jez, you reckon?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe you got better sources than me, but
I doubt that.
Honestly don't doubt
And
that. at the
you
moment.
didn't you already leak it? I can't remember what you say on and off. The air.
No, what I had heard was that they were rebooting Quake, but that was like a co-developed thing between Machine and id. It wasn't just one or the other.
And there was just a rumor that Machine's working on something that's not Wolfenstein or Indie.
Oh, there you go. So it might be the Quake reboot.
Well,
And I can understand Phil being excited for a Quake reboot.
I mean, Quake's been rumored for a while. Whether it's actual sources or just it just feels right. Like Doom wrapped up pretty neatly with the second DLC, which I've still not finished because it's
good.
difficult.
Yeah, it is hard.
And Phil wore the Hexen t-shirt, didn't he? That that is so specific. I don't think he'd wear that for no reason. So
he has quoted why he wore it, and it was just because he wanted people to remember they care about their old
Hexen is an
IP.
Activision IP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, Well, Bethesda owns the publishing rights to Hexen on PC, but Hexen IP, I believe, is owned by Activision. So there probably is some legal wrangling that needs to occur for
Yeah.
that to come back. I don't think it'd be outside of the realm of possibility that Activision, even if the deal doesn't go through, that Activision would probably license that out for a game. I mean, they're not going to do anything with it, right? So
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be willing to license that out for Microsoft to play with.
They just put it back on. It's on PC Game Pass now. They put some of those old ones that they had the PC.
Yeah. I loaded up. I tried to load up Hexen on the Asus ROG Ally, but it's like it's so old that it just won't recognize X input as an option for playing it. You need I think you need a mouse and keyboard for that. Yeah. But yeah, I love Hexen. Like, it's such a cool franchise, and it's
I like it too.
Yeah, it makes total and complete sense for that to come back. So it's either Quake or Hexen, isn't it? Or
probably.
It's not gonna.
Or
it's
Heretic.
Not be
what about Heretic?
Yeah, maybe. I never played that one, but
Heretic was good too. Rise of the Triad was good. God, that was such a golden period that for first person shooters back then, back when Doom 2, Quake 2, like those were the days. That was the only time I was a PC gamer. Sorry.
Yeah, I was an Unreal Tournament kid. You know, I tried Quake, but it was like, man, this doesn't. I was just so used to Unreal Tournament, I couldn't play Quake. Like, it was similar, but just that little bit too different. But yeah, I mean, Doom. I've always loved Doom, and it is just a masterclass studio these days. Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, both amazing games. I even like Doom 3. I know I'm in the minority there, but
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay.
I loved it. Like so like if Hexen's more like horror oriented, like Doom 3 was, I'd be totally down for that.
Well, I was hoping was, when I got told about the Quake reboot, my hope was that the Quake reboot would be similar to Doom, is in Doom 2016, but with a more gothic vibe to it.
Well, I think like one of the things they'll have to explore is how do they differentiate Quake from Doom, because they are, at least the classic Doom and the classic Quake are at least artificially quite similar games. So I suppose they'd have to go deeper on exploring like how does Quake really differentiate itself there. It's like if Doom's more hell and demons, then Quake was more H.P. Lovecraft and gothic horror kind of thing, wasn't it?
Correct.
So I suppose we'll see what they do with it, but
slower paced as well, I think.
Yeah, probably it's a bit slower paced. But we'll see. I think whatever.
Well, we have QuakeCon soon. We have QuakeCon in a couple of months. So
I got to find out where it was, but I'm pretty sure they said no new announcements at QuakeCon. To,
oh, really? Oh, that sucks.
We did get a gifted membership from Coffee Man.
Coffee Man. And yeah, you got it somehow. And right, James Thomas with a $5 super chat. Phil Spencer mentioned Namco Bandai also when speaking on current Eastern developers they're working with.
Ooh. Yep. Is that your killer instinct? Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
The one time Nick clams up.
What?
The only time Nick doesn't want to talk a bunch is when,
No, I don't know. I don't know. That it was actually Jez that speculated that it was at Namco Studio doing it.
Well, I can't remember who told me this, but it was like it wasn't completely unsourced. It was like it wasn't totally speculation when I did say it could be Namco working on it, but it was like even the source wasn't sure, so it was kind of like one of them. Could it be kind of thing?
I'm fairly confident it's Japanese studio doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a huge amount of studios with that kind of expertise, and I think like if you got the studio that made Soul Calibur to do it, like that's probably the closest to Killer Instinct. In a perfect world, Microsoft would own Iron Galaxy and they just do it.
Correct, or even Double Helix.
Yeah,
or even Double Helix.
I don't think Double Helix even exists anymore, do
they? They don't. They basically don't. Like the team that made Killer Instinct, I don't believe is part of Double Helix anymore. Like, I don't even think they're there anymore.
That's such a shame.
It is. It's so sad. Like, that studio was just about to establish itself as one of the better studios out there. So they had the fantastic Strider in 2014.
Yeah, Strider was really good.
Strider was amazing. They just done Killer Instinct, which everyone was raving about. Like, they were just announcing themselves as a great studio, and then Amazon just wrecked it. They wrecked everything.
Amazon is
Couldn't believe it.
Amazon is just a garbage fire company, really, these days. I mean, have you seen all the Twitch drama going on right now?
Mm-hmm.
With them
Yeah.
like changing the rules every 5 minutes.
And even
'cause
this
they-
new one is
God.
only for their top earners, and even then, it's really specific for no reason. Like, oh, you've got to have 360 paid recurring subscribers. It can't be gifted subs. It can't be Twitch Primes. It's like, just they
and
really,
like and it
Man.
and it's only up to 100 grand as well,
Mhm.
which is like and YouTube's just like fuck it, have $1 million.
Yep.
You know, I don't know why any Twitch streamers focus on Twitch when YouTube exists.
It looks
like,
so much.
I
better.
found that odd too. I find that odd too.
I mean, I suppose like YouTube's not kind of known as a streaming platform, but YouTube's terms for partners is just unreal. It's just so damn good.
Mhm.
And I suppose it's because Google has a monopoly on ads, basically.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
like, I don't know if you're a content creator why you wouldn't be on YouTube.
The
for
big
streaming
reason
over
for Twitch is a lot of their integrations and their Twitch rival tournaments, and it's easier to get sponsorships and stuff on there, especially with like the game integrations where you can get Diablo drops, so everyone's streaming Diablo nonstop because it's so YouTube gets you. It might be
Yeah,
a potentially smaller audience, but YouTube gets you way better looking streams. Like, you can go up to 4K at 48K bitrate
It's
on
true.
YouTube, and almost no one ever freaking does, and I don't get it. But yeah,
I think yeah, Twitch chat and their mod tools, and like Twitch
lot
has more
better.
mature
Yeah.
tools than for streaming than YouTube. But I mean, I would put up with the jank of YouTube just for the ease of the partner program. It's just like,
Yeah.
these are the terms for everyone. That's it. Unless you're PewDiePie and you have like some kind of bespoke contract with them or something. But for the vast majority of creators, it's just a flat. Whether you've got like 1,000, I think it starts at 1,000. I think they lowered it to 500.
they
didn't
did, and
Like,
less hours
yeah.
too.
Yeah, so you start 500 subscribers, and then it's just it. Whether you got 500 or 500,000, it's the same terms, and I think that's so awesome. I would never consider streaming on Twitch. I would never consider it.
If
Bro,
only
another
Microsoft would
tangent.
keep Mixer around, eh?
Yeah, like, I'm actually mulling over an article like why Microsoft shouldn't have killed Mixer, but I'm also kind of thinking, well, that probably
Is there a
should-
point?
Yeah, they probably still should have killed Mixer. So I'm wondering,
they were
like,
gonna
am I
give
just
into gambling
lying?
streams.
Why should they still have killed it?
Really hard to make
Well,
money.
it's just kind of like, would Microsoft have ever had the stomach to really invest? Because user acquisition is so expensive. I mean, that new Kick streaming platform, they paid like 100 million for that.
100 million for XQC.
100 million.
Yeah,
which
70
is-
million
Where is that
shares.
money coming from?
Their main thing, they are
Wow.
funded by gambling sites,
They're-
and
yeah,
they
it's a
used to pay
casino.
him to do gambling streams on their sites. They were paying like $1 million a month or something.
Really?
So yeah,
I jumped
Yeah.
onto Kick. I created an account on Kick, and it
that's
looks almost exactly like Twitch. Like, it's a clone of Twitch,
a lot
but
of people
green
think
and
they-
white.
Aimless, isn't it?
a lot of people think they stole some of the source code after it.
They
got leaked.
probably did, because it looked frighteningly familiar. And there's a lot of, like, not porn, but close to
you can
porn
find it
on there.
Oh, really?
It's the
Oh,
wild, it's the
they
Wild
don't
West.
hide it.
Well,
They do not hide it at all. Like, I jumped on and I'm like, man, thank God my kids don't know about this, because, like, they are just...
well, the thing is,
They
even
actually
on
have a
Twitch,
section.
if you go, Twitch has that too, the hot tub section. So it's
Yeah.
not like Twitch doesn't exactly hide it either. That's just like
they do
they
a
let that
better
junior-
job. They do a better
don't
job
know.
hiding it than Kick does.
Oh no.
Kick just, like, puts it on there. It's like, here it is.
Yeah, they
Here's
don't.
all
They
the
don't
boobies.
really have tools. They don't really have thing. They're pretty Wild West right now, and if they actually get bigger, they're gonna have to really cut into that, which is also gonna then hurt them because that's the audience they're
like,
building right now.
I'm
Well,
on their
that's the
site
thing about
now.
Mixer. It's like Microsoft would never have allowed that on Mixer, but clearly, like, I remember there was this huge controversy on Mixer because a popular streamer had like some cleavage showing, and like you're allowed to do that on Twitch, but like Mixer was really funny about it, and like they came off a little bit sexist about it. Like, you're not allowed to show You got to be all covered up and stuff. And it's just kind of like Microsoft is so obsessed with being family friendly and stuff, at least generally speaking. And it's like you will even get banned on Xbox Live if you like screenshot the wrong thing.
Really?
In one of the games. Yeah, you will. If you screenshot like
boobs
in Blasphemous, for example. Yeah, if you screenshot boobs in The Witcher or Blasphemous or like the full frontal nudity in Conan Exiles or something, and you upload that to Xbox Live, and someone reports you, they will ban you for sharing content on their own content on their own platform. So you got to be careful with that stuff. Microsoft's really weird about anything even remotely vaguely sexual. So I'm
on Kick right now. And this is like, there's like an entire section on Kick, pools, hot tubs, and bikinis, and there is some wild stuff on here. Like
Twitch has that too.
Yeah, it's on Twitch.
The exact same category.
Go to Amouranth.
Pools, hot tubs, and bikini. Yeah.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
they
haven't
do.
seen it on Twitch. But
Exactly the same category.
Yeah.
They took that straight from Twitch.
There's someone here who is 98% naked. She's just on here, and she's like pretty much naked.
Oh, can you send me a link
just-
so I can avoid
YouTube
it?
allows nudity most of the time now, so let me pull this up.
I'm just like, this is like wild, this stuff.
I don't think it's a big deal. I think like, get that bread. If that's what you want to do, and no one's been hurt, then get that bread. But I don't. But that's the thing. Like Microsoft would never allow that, and I think like streaming
We're prudish
that
Americans.
genie's that genie's well out of the bottle. So it's kind of like a lot of streamers wouldn't even consider Mixer because of those weird rules they had, and
Yeah, but you can
Mixer was
understand why
unfunded as well.
Microsoft wouldn't allow a hot tubs, pools, and bikinis section. You can understand why.
I mean, I can,
Like-
but I can also understand that a lot of people would kind of be like, well, this is kind of what streaming is,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
understand that,
It's
but it's
different,
Microsoft. Can you imagine the crap Microsoft would cop for having a section like this on Mixer? It's not on the same level. Mothers aren't grabbing their pitchforks to take down Kick or Twitch, but they'll do it for Microsoft. Like it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
man, I'll send you a link anyway after the show.
No, I'm not interested, really.
Yeah. Sure.
Just goes on Pornhub if you don't need Twitch.
Now, speaking of partners and Microsoft partnering up with studios and this, that, the other, it came out that they signed a deal with People Can Fly to make a game. Project Maverick.
Yeah.
What do we think that is?
I have no idea. But I don't
Wonder
think
if that's the Gears
related.
collection. Wonder if that's the Gears collection.
I don't know.
Maybe they're taking over from someone.
Yeah, I've heard it's not Gears related. But I guess we'll find out. Like there was
30 to 50 million. 30 to 50 million was the budget, right?
Yeah, and there was some discourse about what does that buy you? What kind of game does that buy you?
Yeah.
But I think like even I didn't really consider like how far your money will go, how far your dollars will go in Poland compared to Britain or something. Like I was shocked when I was in Poland, like how cheap an Uber was just because I was paying in pounds. Like I could go miles for like £10 that would cost like £40 in England. Just because of the exchange rate to the Polish currency, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, begins with a Z. By the way, do you say Z or Z in Australia?
Z.
Ew.
Good. Based Australia. Which side of the road do you drive on?
Left.
Based Australia. Good.
It's like Zloty. Is it Zloty?
Yeah, probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's something.
I probably am.
Yeah.
Alternatively, no, Zloty. It's got here Zloty.
Okay. Well.
Zwolta. It's actually pronounced Zwolta.
Oh, fair enough. Well, that's the contention. It's like how much of a game does that buy you in Poland? And it might be more than you think, right? So it could be a bigger kind of game. I mean, it could be Microsoft like helping People Can Fly a little bit with cash flow, and they're coming to support in another game or something. Co-development. Maybe they're working on Halo even. They've supported Gears in the past for that kind of stuff. So it could be a load of things, but it's kind of cool as well because it's like there's Microsoft still, you know, they're not resting on their laurels. They're still cutting these deals. There's still stuff on the horizon. It's just kind of cool, right?
Yeah. I still can't believe we didn't see Contraband.
Yeah, where the
showcase.
hell's Contraband? I think that game's in development hell, or well, something approximated to it. Because
wasn't it?
I've got a document that was like we're targeting 2021 for this game.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought. It was like that's what I had heard. I had heard it was like meant to be 2021.
Yeah, I think like when they I mean, this document was the initial pitch, which is from quite a while ago, and I presume like COVID probably did a number on the development of that game, I would imagine. So the timelines are they're just completely warped now. But that game was meant to come out a long time ago. So it's either one or two things. Either the development is tough and it's struggling, or they've decided to expand the scope of it. Because I heard that it was initially going to be a very vehicular heavy game, and it was going to be all about police car chases and setting up and executing heists and that kind of thing. And there's going to be like a social hub element and that kind of stuff, and you know, like a semi-online game. Don't know the extent to which some of those features will still be in, but maybe they were like, we bit off more than we can chew. Maybe we'll make it more focused, or maybe they're just like, you know, the pandemic really affected the game's development because the studio didn't have the capital, or they're just not set up for remote working at all, or something.
Maybe.
Or they've expanded the scope of the game and they've just been like, there's more we can do here. Like, let's add like full-blown gunplay, or let's add this, let's add that, you know, or, you know, so it could be one of a number of things, but it's kind of, nobody asked about the game in any of the interviews that occurred.
Really?
Not that I saw, like, because I didn't get to interview Matt Booty or Phil or anything, so I couldn't ask some of the more game oriented questions like that. But yeah, nobody really asked about Contraband that I saw, and maybe a lot of people have just forgotten about it. But
I think so.
I hope it's still in development. I suppose like I could reach out to Assembly and ask for an update on it or something. But yeah, I'd be intrigued to find out what's going on with that game.
After how bad Square Enix screwed over People Can Fly, it feels like with Outriders. I almost wonder, with it being like a good guy Microsoft and we've got to deal with you, maybe they did work something out to increase the scope and get a little more budget. And Microsoft also isn't desperate for games. So maybe they're like, well, you can take your time type of thing. Maybe it makes them think differently about like acquisitions or anything, or working with them again in the future. But still at this point, they're like, well, we're already in. We'll just give you more time, give you a little more budget. Maybe, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
You never
I
know.
love that trailer. That Steely Dan trailer was so damn good.
Oh, my God, got our whole friggin' co-stream blocked. Fuck that song.
As a tone piece trailer, I absolutely loved it. That was so good. Now,
which trailer is that you're talking about?
The Contraband trailer.
Oh, right.
Did you see it?
I can't.
It was all CGI with just the Steely Dan song going through the garage.
Yeah, I literally just can't remember it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite video game trailers ever, even though it didn't really show much. I absolutely loved it. It was so good. Now, Jesse mentioned acquisitions, which is an interesting segue, because now it's time for our favorite topic. Yay!
We only got a month left.
ABK. Oh, my God. ABK. More craziness this week. So, the FTC... They got their injunction, yeah? Is that right? They got their injunction to stop.
No, they got a temporary injunction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Temporary. They got a TRO, a temporary restraining order, until their hearing for the injunction.
Yeah. But everyone's saying that's apparently a good thing. It speeds up the process.
Yeah. Instead of that being in August, like, because it seems clear. The way it feels is that Xbox was like, well, we're going to probably close this before July. And the FTC is probably still in contact with the CMA, even if they're not supposed to be. And they're like, shit, they're losing bad.
Yeah. I'm sure there's no collusion going on there.
Yeah, so it's going real bad for them in Britain. Boy, the only chance we have is to try and do a last-ditch preliminary injunction, because then we can just hold them up in red tape hell in court. And Microsoft is like, well, we're going to have to wait till August for you anyway, so now we get to go now and know before we close in July. And it really just sounds like the moment, if they don't get the injunction, which a lot of people more in the know seem to think would be tough to get in this situation.
Is that a preliminary injunction? Is that what it's called?
So it would not allow them to close in the US until the FTC had done their own process, which they can drag out for many years, at which point there's no way. Like that's the thing that everyone's railing. All the companies are going against the FTC because they have their own courts, and then getting them to go through that, and then you just know they're never going to change their mind. Getting to federal level takes forever. So if they can get this done and they don't get the preliminary injunction, it feels like this will be done. They will do their limited integration because they know they still have court dates with the FTC, unless the FTC does just drop it, like has happened before in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're nearing the end. I think Microsoft and Activision really want to avoid a scenario where they have to go back to shareholders and renegotiate an extension of the deal. So they're seeing if they can do that ahead of time and stuff like that.
And they got everything they wanted for this hearing. They got it extended from 2 days up till 5 days if needed.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, I don't know, will Microsoft bother extending the deal? I mean, there's a lot of money riding on this, and if the deal doesn't go through, it's a win-win for Activision, because Activision gets a free $3 billion if the deal fails for their trouble. So they win either way, and if Activision sells, then Bobby Kotick and all the shareholders, they get a huge payout, and a lot of employees will have shares, and they'll get a bunch of money from it. So, and obviously the shareholders will get a bunch of money from it as well. So it's a win-win for Activision. It's going to be, I think, before the showcase, I think it would have been pretty devastating for Microsoft. But after the showcase, and we've seen the roadmap that's coming up, I don't think it's such a big deal anymore. And Phil and Matt Booty and all those people, they've all said like our entire strategy doesn't revolve around ABK. It's just ABK is an accelerant to the PC audience, an accelerant to the mobile game audience. There's other ways of achieving that, like through smaller acquisitions. There's loads of mobile developers right now who are for sale. Yeah, there's Sega and the CMA. Yeah, exactly. The CMA has literally, said, you should go after smaller studios and stuff.
And you should do exclusivity deals.
Yeah, you should do exclusivity deals. So it's kind of like there are ways Microsoft can get around some of this and still achieve its goals with regards to mobile and PC. It just kind of would have been awesome, from a personal perspective as a massive Blizzard fanboy to
get Diablo on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean,
and get the leadership
get
too.
Game Pass.
Yeah, really.
But also better leadership for ABK. Get rid of Kotick, he gets his golden parachute, whatever, and
he's already rich.
He's already rich, and reduce the crunch that's going on there or whatever, and maybe move some of those studios to more creative endeavors if they do want to carry on working on Call of Duty. Maybe they want to work on something else. I don't know. But I think like that with Game Pass as the content fund, I think they'll be able to be a lot more flexible, a lot more interesting, a lot more innovative. So it was just kind of cool to think about what possibilities would be there with ABK. But I think like the age of like they need ABK because things are so dire, I think that's well and truly past now. So I'm kind of over the deal. If it goes through, great. If it doesn't go through, oh well.
Honestly, think it seems likely that it will. At this point, this feels like a Hail Mary from the FTC. And it's Xbox and ABK saying, we're going to close this the moment you lose. And there was an interesting thing in there with, they said the deal wasn't just Call of Duty. The deal was Activision for 10 years. So Activision games on PlayStation and everywhere for 10 years. But not Blizzard and obviously not King. But it was just Activision as part of that deal. Which was, they have communication where it would appear Jim Ryan, the day after the deal was announced, told someone in private he's not worried about losing Call of Duty. Which is very funny that they have that communication. And also they kept bringing up the fact that the Japanese, the Sony CEO was talking about how cloud gaming's just not really there yet.
It's not really there yet.
They're hitting on that. Like, hey, you keep talking about Call of Duty. They don't think they're going to lose it. You keep talking about cloud. They don't think it's actually that good yet. And it's still just a part of the everything else. It's not its own market. So
Jez was playing God of War on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I actually
via the cloud.
I got PlayStation Plus the other day, just because like I'm gonna write an article about it on PC soon and stuff, because it's a PC app at the end of the day. I don't even think you can get it on mobile. I think it's PC only, and I think that's because they use they do some really cool encoding stuff on your local hardware. They probably can do that on mobile, but at least for right now, it's a PC thing. I don't think it's on mobile. I could be wrong about that.
No.
Yeah, but it's awesome. I'll be honest. Like I think
you're
like
close to a server, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I even had a better experience than I would have had on xCloud with PlayStation Plus, on PC. Like I haven't tried xCloud on PC recently, so I need to do more testing. But I was playing Bloodborne on PlayStation Plus, and Bloodborne's the kind of game where you don't want to have lag, you don't want to have latency, because you got to get them iframes in and all that kind of stuff. And it was flawless, man. I was just like, this almost feels native. It feels like feels like if I was playing it with a Bluetooth controller or something, like that kind of latency you get from playing with Bluetooth or something. It was totally playable and totally doable. And the only thing I was thinking, like, because I did get maybe like in about a 45-minute session, I did get one lag spike. Sometimes Wi-Fi just gets interference or whatever. But I was thinking like, if I died in Bloodborne due to lag, that would probably make me really salty. So like I tried God of War, and I tried like the PS3 God of War HD, the remaster classic of the classic God of War. Amazing, really, really cool. And Sony just announced that they're bringing PlayStation 5 games to the cloud for the first time, and also select digital games to purchase in the cloud as well, which is potentially beating Microsoft to the punch there, because Microsoft said we'd be able to purchase games for use in the cloud and a year ago, and it still hasn't materialized yet. So,
I do wonder. It's like
they also said we were going to be able to play our own games.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're talking about.
I mean.
Yeah. But that's been a big thing about the market definition of cloud games. So I do wonder if they've waited for this to end before they start adding cloud features and stuff.
That's a good point.
If you do play xCloud on PC, they do something similar. I know if you play through like Edge, you can get some image sharpening that actually is noticeable.
Yeah, there's actually, what they're doing right now with xCloud is that there's actually two different encoders. They're testing two different encoding methods right now, so you'll get a different experience based on what you use it. If you use the Android app, I believe it's an older codec that's more susceptible to interference, but provides a generally better latency or something. And then there's another codec which they use on PC, which does offload some video encoding or whatever to local hardware, and it's a little bit more susceptible to interference, but provides better latency or something, or the other way around. I can't remember, but they are testing like multiple delivery methods right now, and also the web browser one has a different one as well, and then there's the image sharpening stuff. So they're still doing loads of tests, and I think, and also the server capacity is an issue. Someone at Microsoft told me that one of the reasons they hold off on letting you, including like the entire Xbox library in there is because it will blow the servers up, and they don't want to get to because like if you can play anything you want, more people would probably use it, right? And as we know from Brad Smith's interview in the BBC, they've only got capacity for, was it 1,000 concurrent users in the UK?
I thought it was 5.
It wasn't 5,000, right?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a lot, put it that way. And it's kind of like the silicon's a bottleneck here, right? Because it's exactly the same silicon that they use in the consoles, which notoriously also has a constrained supply. So
it's supposed to be fixed.
It's another one of them. Yeah, it's supposed to be
apparently
fixed,
they've made more available now.
When I looked on Amazon, earlier, and it was still sold out. The Xbox Series X.
They had them for a little bit, and it's sold out, and it keeps going up, and it's going up more often than it used to. It used to be like sometimes you could go weeks without seeing it come back up, but
okay,
yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. So, what else do we have to say on ABK? Anything?
It's almost
anything
done.
At all?
I just can't wait till it's over. Either way,
I know, man. Oh my
close.
god, I just want to
I think
Just want
This is it.
over.
I'm almost kind of intrigued. What would they do if it falls through? Like, are they immediately going to go and buy Crystal Dynamics? I'm actually like a little bit more excited. What would happen if they doesn't go through? Like, if it doesn't go through, they're going to have a bunch of money earmarked for acquisitions.
Yep.
And they could just go and buy, like, Embrace is in dire straits right now. And I wouldn't be surprised.
You want a cash injection?
Yeah, you want a cash injection? Sell us Tomb Raider and Crystal Dynamics. You know, we'll pay a premium for them.
We'll pay a premium, and give us
we'll
IDOS.
IDOS and Deus Ex and
Deus Ex.
Legacy of Kain, and there's loads of franchises there that Microsoft could probably handle better than Embracer Group, because Embracer Group's just proven recently that it has no clue what it's doing.
Yeah, we always thought, is this just a money
We
scheme?
always,
but no, it just turns out they
we
had
always
no idea.
kept saying it on every episode after they announced some new acquisition. On every single episode of this podcast, we'd be like, "What's their plan? What's their plan?"
I thought like they're like buying loads of stuff and they're gonna sell to a sovereign wealth fund like Saudi Arabia or something. I thought they had like a clear exit strategy in mind for this stuff, but it turns out they are the people who own Embracer actually are passionate gamers, and they just don't know what they're doing.
They borrowed a lot of money when it was cheaper, and now money isn't. That money's not worth as much, and they got to pay a bunch, and they're not making it back. They've had success. Yeah. Like Dead Island 2 was a big success for them, yet it's still nowhere near enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
The capital, like, because of interest rates, like the rate of borrowing is just ridiculous right now. So they're gonna have like serious cash flow problems if they can't like start selling those games. And every time they have to borrow money to cash flow their operation, they're just gonna end up in astronomical amounts of debt, which is just going to be impossible to service while interest rates remain what they are. Like we went how many decades with interest rates at like 0.2% or something, 0.25% in the UK, I think they were now, and now it's 4.25% in the UK. So
same with us. Australia's the same.
Yeah, so it's like orders of it's to the tune of billions of dollars of extra debt you're taking on as a result, and they're very much a low interest rate setup they've got there, and they made I think they just thought we can cruise on this forever until we find profitability. They just had no plan whatsoever, no like real business acumen, like it seems like, and honestly we've seen a bunch of companies run headfirst into this problem, which is why like you've seen like mass layoffs at like some of the big tech companies, and you've seen some tech companies just go belly up. I saw the company that makes Instant Pot air fryers have gone bankrupt, which is like, there was a time where you couldn't avoid on Instagram, there was just non-stop adverts for air fryers and Instant Pot constantly, and that
air fryers are great.
Bankrupt. Yeah, they are great.
Air fryers are great.
Yeah, and Instant Pot was like the air fryer. The air fryer, and they've gone bankrupt. It's wild. But
you have to wonder if ABK is also screwing over Embracer. Like maybe Embracer wants to sell off a few things, maybe to Microsoft, and ABK is like causing a lot of problems because of how long it's taking.
Well, I'll tell you, Nick. I know for a fact that some companies have been screwed over by ABK because they wanted to sell stuff to Microsoft and then they couldn't sell stuff to Microsoft. Yeah,
I am aware, or not, I shouldn't, aware is the wrong word. I had heard about one developer that was hoping to be acquired by Microsoft. That can't happen until ABK, and this is just a small developer. This isn't a publisher or anything.
I know about a publisher that was in talks with Microsoft to sell, and then they couldn't. And it actually negatively impacted their quarterlies and all this kind of stuff. So the ABK's, it's been a heavy burden on Microsoft in terms of, what they can and can't achieve. But it's also like, it's the holy grail. It's Call of Duty, it's World of Warcraft, it's Diablo, for God's sake. Diablo's made $500 million in an order of days. There's not many publishers that can accomplish that kind of throughput. And it's a fast track to competition with Genshin, the developers of Genshin Impact, who with like 2 games have matched PlayStation on quarterly revenue.
I know.
It's just absurd how big some of these Chinese companies are.
And then people are wondering why Sony's chasing games as a service.
And every time I look over at my wife, she's playing Candy Crush.
It's stuff like that. These are like these mass market kind of games, and like there's a whole generation of kids who are growing up with Genshin Impact as their Mario. Genshin Impact is their Mario, And for a lot of teenagers, Diablo is going to be like a game that they play with their friends and stuff like that.
Fortnite, Roblox.
Fortnite as well. But Microsoft ain't going to get Fortnite and Roblox. But
there's
a lot more.
So you had heard about a publisher. I had only heard about a developer that was being held up by ABK, and a developer that would like to be acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah, I heard about a publisher that was impacted by the deal.
Interesting.
But it is what it is. It is what it is. There's so much at stake with ABK, and it goes beyond the games, right? Because with ABK on board, with Epic Games as a co-conspirator, those Epic Games and Microsoft could crack the duopoly, which is the Google Apple payment system. Like I can see a situation, right, where Epic Games Fortnite and Rocket League, the mobile Rocket League. Do you play that, by the way? Is it any good?
It is, and my son is incredible at it. He is unbelievable. It's 2D, so it's not full 3D. It's 2D.
That's really interesting.
Yes. It's 2D. The way they've done it, though, is quite smart. It's quite good. It's quite good, Sideswipe. And I don't even think there's any monetization to it. It's a totally free game.
That's awesome. Well,
it's incredible.
Well, that's just it. You see, like these sort of big mobile games, these are things that Microsoft and Epic Games could band together, maybe Samsung as well, and just be like, look, Apple and Google, we're making our games exclusive to the Samsung store, which has like, I think Samsung has like something like a 90% developer split. It's like it's closest to the Epic Game Store, right, for Samsung, and you can bring your own payment systems, right? So I think like they could team up with Samsung and be like, we're gonna put our games exclusively on these platforms, or even make our own platform, like Microsoft talked about making its own platform for mobile games. If you don't stop being massive dicks, because Google and Apple are blocking cloud gaming from really growing right now as well. So that's at stake too. That's at stake as well. So
you think Apple's plan of every single Xbox Game Pass cloud game needing its own app on the App Store is killing it? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, server allocation's also an issue. So like, even if Microsoft did have an app on the App Store, it wouldn't help them too much right now because I believe they're at capacity. But like in the future, Apple and Google are the ones that are going to bottleneck this and gatekeep this, and it's not fair. It's not fair that they get to decide what new businesses live and die and what consumers can have access to because it hurts them. It's not fair. You know, if Microsoft was blocking Steam on Windows, for example, if Microsoft issued an update to Windows which blocked Steam unless Steam put all of its games on the Microsoft Store or something like that, everyone would be up in arms. They'd be up in arms, and regulators would be up in arms and all that stuff. But that's exactly what Apple and Google are doing. That is exactly what they're doing. Google to a lesser extent, but that's exactly what Apple's doing. You know, your beloved Apple, Nick, the evil Apple.
I don't chill for them. I don't think they're an amazing company. I just like their products.
Well, great. You're killing gaming, Nick. You're killing gaming.
They just work better. What do you mean? They've got Apple now has like some Proton-like layer that allows you to play
like ass. It's terrible. It's for developers.
I don't know.
It's not for actually playing things for the most part.
I've got a pretty powerful Mac right here. My Mac is quite
it's got
powerful.
3090 in it. I remember their marketing. That was totally true.
Yeah. 3090. Okay, there's a couple of super chats. Achievement with the $2 very accurate super chat. Nick deserves a spot on Xbox too. Where was my invite for yesterday?
You're getting up at like 2 in the morning?
The thought process was that was enough people, I think. Dude, it was a 4.5 hour show, man. If you were on, it would have been 5 hours long.
No,
Maybe
6.
6
Yeah,
or maybe 6
Nick,
hours.
you know when they go
Maybe
live, right?
6.
They go live 3 hours earlier than we do.
Yeah, I know. It would have been like 4 a.m. for me or something. 5 a.m.
We'll get you on eventually.
So
worry,
disappointing.
Don't you
There,
worry.
there was another super chat.
Yes, there's another super chat. Banana Peel Jack. It was awesome to see Jesse on with Jeff Grubb this week. His star is ascending, and he is the heart of this podcast. Go, Jesse. That's a bit of a stretch.
I mean,
That's
the
a
hard in the
stretch.
sense that my computer's the hard, because if it goes down, the podcast goes down.
Yeah, that's right. We just
Where's
stream
Jesse?
straight out on
Oh, Jesse. Where's John?
He went
John's
on
camping,
yeah.
glamping.
hmm
Glamping.
He went
What's that mean?
glam. He went glamping.
What
Have
does-
you
what does
have
that
you
mean?
never heard of glamping?
No, I've never heard.
Are you
of that.
serious?
What is it?
Glamping is glamorous camping.
Glamorous
Glamorous
camping.
camping.
What does that even mean?
Glamping.
Fancy.
So you have like a very expensive. It's barely even a tent. It's like this. It's like a small apartment that you take with you camping. It's like
That's
this
not
full on.
camping.
That's why it's called glamping, because it's glamorous camping.
It's like you've got
cheating.
Come on.
the tent
Come on,
from
Jess.
Goblet of Fire.
Right.
Yeah,
going
it's
around
like
the house.
full on expensive tent that has like a sink, I think, and like a kitchen and crazy stuff.
Brilliant.
Crazy. Okay. Now, I think that's pretty much all the news out of the way. Is there anything you can think of, Jez? You're the news hound.
Oh, dude, I'm not the news hound. I got a team for that now.
hmm
I'm out of touch. I'm out of the loop.
Well, then
I've
that
really been
means-
just taking a break today. I need to look away from my word processor for a bit.
That means it's time for everyone's favorite video game show, which is
Oh
so
snap!
yes. So Jez being a journalist, this game should be right up his alley
Okay.
because Jez's vocab is probably far better than mine, so he should have no problems with this
I
game.
wouldn't be so sure about that. I'm from the Midlands.
So I'm sure Jesse has the video ready, and we are gonna play Name a Game.
Ooh.
I hit the button.
Gotta stop playing Diablo for a minute.
Yes, just
Yeah,
temporarily.
sorry. No more Diablo for you, Jez. Just buzz in
Damn it.
.live and then the code that's in the private chat. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is time for everyone's favorite game show, and I could have changed it to have a picture of
Yeah.
Jez, but this scoreboard breaks all the time when I change the name and pictures, so I left it
Yeah,
as
he's playing
is.
for John anyway. He's playing for
Yeah.
John.
And you will
So-
once again hear
Alright, let's
music.
do this.
We play for our patrons with Name a Game, and between you and I, or me and John and I, whoever wins, that patron gets a free game. So we have a bunch of like ID at Xbox games and stuff that we give away, and the patron we play for gets a free game. So this week I am playing for Super Swans 117, and John/Jez is
Jazon.
playing for SEMA. You're playing for SEMA. So,
See my
good
notes.
luck, Super Swans, and condolences, SEMA. So, Jez is unaware of how Name a Game works. So, Name a Game is each week we have a theme. What's this week's theme, Jesse?
This week's theme is, as I resize this one thing, games with mechanics inside Starfield.
What?
Starfield it's games that their entire thing pretty much is just the mechanic inside of Starfield because Starfield is
Okay.
so flippin' big.
That's
my
interesting.
God.
You get a survival
Okay,
game.
so what
you
happens
got
is-
a old RPG, those types.
It's best of 5, so first to 3. And Jesse has a list of games there. So as an example, let's say Jesse was going with Mass Effect, right? The game was Mass Effect. Jesse would take Mass Effect, basically run it through a thesaurus, and change the name to, I don't know, what's an example for Mass Effect? I don't know. You're changing Mass and Effect with a thesaurus.
Yeah,
And coming up with another
synonyms.
name
Okay.
entirely.
Okay.
Synonyms, yes. You know.
Alright.
I get you.
So
Yeah. It's a very funny game.
It's a best of 3, but we end up going through all of them anyways because people tend to enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, people tend to enjoy it.
Yeah, it goes all right. So the very first one for a game with a mechanic that is inside Starfield. So, a survival game, a space shooter, a big open
Are you on the
world
Buzz
RPG.
website? Oh yeah, your face is white, so you're on the Buzz website.
Mhm.
It's like very bright white.
Yeah. So the very
No, that's just my skin.
yeah.
I'm from the north. There's no sunlight here.
So you can buzz in with your space bar.
Okay.
The very first one is the game is 2 words, but the first word is a compound word, so I'm going to be giving you 3. But the name of the game is 2 total words. Your clue: celebrity-moisture hollow. Celebrity hyphen Nick.
I got it. Stardew Valley.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Nick is
Oh,
unbelievably competitive, and he's going to be really annoying. If you care at all.
My brain is really slow, so I'm not going to be very good at this.
When you said the celebrity moisture, I'm like, hold on, Stardew. Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'm proud of myself with that one.
What mechanic is that in Starfield?
The survival and
Okay.
survival and base building and stuff, because you make houses and
You
go
don't
through.
survive in Stardew Valley, do you? Really?
It's you gather resources and you build up your base.
I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can do space farming in Starfield. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they talked about how you can harvest the local flora and fauna with your base building stuff.
Okay.
All right, number 2.
Yep.
More up Jez's alley is condition of dilapidation 2.
That's
Yes.
State of Decay, right?
Correct.
You got a buzz.
He did.
Did
He
you buzz?
buzzed.
I
Oh
did.
yeah, he
Oh,
buzzed.
he did. Okay, he buzzed.
Nick's
Okay.
always looking for ways people messed up or cheated so that he can try and win. Always.
Condition of dilapidation.
State of Decay. That's a good one. Okay.
And once again, you got your base building mechanic, various things. So
Yep.
realistically, Starfield covers almost every genre, especially if you take mods.
Just
into
about
account.
everything.
Yeah, you can even get hentai adult games once mods are in. All right. Tied at 1. The next
Okay.
is 2 words. It is appendage supervisor. Appendage supervisor.
Appendage supervisor.
Franchise well known on PC.
Oh.
But what's the genre?
It's a big hint. Space. Something in space.
Oh, that's not the game I was thinking of.
Supervisor? That's really
Appendage.
hard.
Supervisor.
Yep, checks. I got it. Don't look at chat. They're cheaters. They all know it.
Appendage. Because I was going to say armor. When you said appendage, I'm like, armor.
Appendage supervisor?
Appendage would be arm.
Yeah, I know.
I
it
can
would be
say a
arm, but
hint
that's why
that
in
will
my head
give
I
it to
had
you, so
armor.
be on your buzzers. This hint is Mark Hamill. Oh, damn, wow.
So
What?
it's a Star Wars. So it's a Star Wars thing.
No.
Appendage supervisor.
Mhm.
Mark Hamill in space. Oh,
Nick.
Wait. This is an old game, is it?
It's an old series, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Wing
Nick.
Commander.
Wing Commander.
Yeah, Nick got it, though. He had the buzz first.
Ah.
They
Man.
work in the end. They work in the end.
Yeah, but my mind goes to newer
Appendage?
games. I don't
Wing?
think to go that
A
old.
wing is an
but
appendage.
Wing Commander is old. I was a kid with Wing Commander. Like I didn't think to go that.
They made a
old.
lot of Wing Commanders, by the way. But I just went with the base name. There's quite
No,
a bit.
I didn't.
Okay.
Was Mark Hamill in Wing Commander? I didn't.
Yeah, and the live action cutscene stuff in some of them.
Yeah, he
I
was.
did not know that.
All right, now Nick can win if he gets this one, so it's all on you.
Yes,
The
if I
pressure's
get
all
this,
on you,
I win.
Jez. This is one word. One word.
But the thing is, right? Nick buzzed way before he answered.
I know. I try to have it be less time, but him and John get all
There's
because
a
John's
10
always
second
sleepy.
counter. You can see it on the website. There's a
Yeah, but I didn't
10-second
start it.
counter.
Okay,
If you
fine.
want, I will start that 10-second counter immediately from now on. Because I have to start it.
Do
It's
it.
not automatic. But yep. All right. Here's the Nick can win if he gets this one. It is one word. That word is punished. Punished.
What's the genre?
No, he's not going to sit there giving clues in the genre. You've just got to guess the game.
Punished.
Punished. I feel like this should be so easy, and it's not.
How is nobody in chat got it? I'm surprised.
Punished.
I literally have no idea.
I can give you a genre
Yeah, I know.
if you want. Now chat has even gotten it.
Go.
Wow.
Go.
Wow.
What is it? Punished.
I don't want to make it too. It's gonna be so easy if I just say.
Something that's in Starfield, like a game that has a mechanic that's also in Starfield.
There is some base
Punished.
building in this game. One might even call it a game mostly about base building. Hey, someone got in chat. Way to go, Abdo. No, it is not Doom. It would not be a base building game, but they hadn't heard me say that yet.
Punished.
This game spent... Oh, Jez.
It's not Rust, is it?
Incorrect. No.
Punished?
I was gonna
How
say,
is
yeah.
how is Rust?
But
How is
but
Rust
wing,
another word for
wing-
punished?
Wing is barely an appendage.
It is an
But it
animal
is an appendage. It is technically an appendage. But Rust, how is Rust
All right.
got to do with punished?
I was just gonna be like, is there some way? Is there some like Australian slang for Rust meaning punished?
All
I
right.
don't know.
I'm starting the 10-second
He's
timer
the
for
one
Nick.
doing the words. It's not me.
10-second timer for Nick.
Punished.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grounded.
Oh, grounded.
Oh God!
Oh. My God.
Oh, fine. I gave you an easy one that you didn't get. I will now give you an extremely
Yeah.
hard one. Though for
Should I
Jez, it
reset
might
my
not be
buzzer?
that hard. I reset them. Yeah, I gotta go through it.
Grounded.
I have to
Okay.
change the name in OBS, go back, clear the buzzers, and then change the scoreboard like every time. So I gotta loop around. All right, next one is one word, but it's a compound word, so I'm giving you two. But the answer is one word.
Okay.
Avarice - plummet.
What's avarice? I don't even know what avarice means.
Jez might have seen the word avarice a lot lately.
I know what it means.
Yeah.
What was
Avarice
it? Avarice what?
- plummet, as in to fall.
I know the second half of the word, but I don't want to give Jez the clue, but I don't know the first part. I don't know what avarice means. And I can't Google it because that's cheating.
Chat's got it.
So Jez, it's something fall. I just don't know what avarice means.
I'm just trying
It's
to think.
something fall.
It's not
Jez.
greed.
What's avarice mean?
Greedfall, correct.
Yeah.
I
There had
thought
to be
avarice
something
meant
full.
hate.
No, the guy in Diablo's he's got all the gold and everything. He's the aspect of avarice.
Avarice, extreme
avarice
greed
meant
for
hate.
wealth.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so
No.
I
You got it
didn't
anyways.
know what avarice meant, but it was the only thing I could think of that was close to it.
Yeah. Extreme greed for wealth or material gain. Avarice.
Does that mean
Well,
I
there you go.
win?
I didn't even know
Nope,
that.
you're
I didn't
tied
even
now.
know
You're
that.
tied at 2.
We're tied 2-2.
Oh.
All
Next
right.
next one's the winner.
God, I don't have
Nobody
any
saw
super
it.
hard ones left. Shit.
Good.
I got some stupid. Good. I got some stupid ones. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give you a good one here.
Okay.
The next one is one word. It is also one
Clear
word.
the buzzer.
My buzzer, my buzzer,
my-
my buzzer.
I was putting the word into OBS, and I was literally. I'm on the buzzer button. I promise. I know.
I don't want him to win.
No one does. So please, for the love of God, please get this next one, which is one word. That word is declared. Declared.
Declared.
Mhm. To declare something.
Yeah.
Declared. Look, they're not always going to be perfect. They just got to get you in the ballpark of what the game is.
Declared.
It is not Forspoken, chat. Because Forspoken is not a real word.
Declared. What?
This is more in the RPG side of Starfield. There you go, chat. They got it. Jack got it.
Declare.
And Nick always has the advantage because he's just waking up and he's got his coffee and he's got pep in his
I
step
haven't had
and-
a coffee yet. I have my control,
Oh yeah, but you're also like young and in shape and old.
but I have
so-
had a coffee. I'm not young. I just
Oh man,
look
I
young.
feel like it's on the tip of my tongue.
Gonna have to start
To
that 10
declare
second timer.
something. I'm
That's really
declaring.
frustrating.
Declared.
I'm.
I feel like
I
I know
know.
it.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No buzzes.
No.
Avowed.
Ah,
Yes, Nick, it
Yes.
works, and everyone got it.
duh.
Avowed.
Yes, Nick, it works, and everyone in chat guessed it. So,
Does it?
oh yeah, declared, avowed, it works. When I type it into Bing
okay.
Chat AI, and it gives me a list of a bunch of synonyms, and I pick one that I think's funny, I trust it.
Oh yeah. The meaning of avowed is openly acknowledged or declared. Okay. Even
Alright.
though Avowed's not a game that's out yet.
No, games with mechanics, not games released with mechanics.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a game that I'd released.
No,
To
it
be
could
Yeah,
be anything.
so was
I was not saying game. If it's something released, I normally give like a year or something like that. But it
That's
could be
my
anything.
excuse. Come on. Let's
All right, next one is always hyphen area 2. Always hyphen area 2.
Oh. Shit.
Correct, Ulfric.
Always. Always.
Yes, like Coca-Cola, or Snape in his pensive. Always.
Always as in all the time.
Yes, always. ALWAYS.
Yeah.
Area hyphen area. It is a compound word, and then number 2. Ursul's way
A
up.
compound word.
Yeah, so it's one word.
Always.
That's why the hyphen. If I ever say hyphen, it's because video games love compound words. Everwild too.
We don't have the first one yet.
It'd be like Goat Simulator 3.
Always. Something in Starfield. Always?
This is a space
Here we
combat
are.
game.
Oh.
Nick.
Oh,
Nick got it first.
fuck!
Ever Space 2?
Fuck!
Correct.
Yes.
Oh.
Just barely won. You won by a split second.
A half
Quite
a
good
second.
job.
It was like half a second. I
Mhm.
saw Jez's name appear right after mine.
I only have a couple left. Run through
Massive
almost everything.
prick. That was lag. That was latency.
So,
Because it's
but
close
we
to you.
use Buzzin for the simple fact that it actually has rollback netcode, so it knows
Yes.
for sure. I know it's
Jeff
crazy.
Grubb.
Rollback. Yeah, that's rollback netcode.
Mhm.
Jeff
Oh my
Jeff
God.
Grubb got us onto this. So I did Jeopardy. I did game Jeopardy with Jeff Grubb, and he introduced me to this site. Buzzing. It's cool.
All right, I got 3 more. We'll go through them quick.
3 more. I win.
These
though.
are for-
I
yeah,
won.
these are for
so,
fun. So the next one's
so
one word.
Super Swans 1171.
Yeah, message me.
That's
The
bullshit.
next one word for Jez's pride. The word is fate.
Fate.
F-A-T-E.
Oh, fate.
Pretty easy one.
Destiny.
Oh,
Jez got
he
it,
beat
yep.
me, Destiny.
Yeah.
Damn it, he beat me to it. Shit.
All right. Second to last one is maybe the easiest one I've ever done. It is the external planets.
What?
Jez,
Outer Worlds.
correct. The
Oh, you
external
cut out
planets.
the first word cut out for me, but anyway.
Oh yeah.
I heard
He looked-
planets. I heard
my,
planets.
my brain is going straight to the answer while I'm playing Diablo. It's like I've cut the part of my brain off that overthinks.
All right, and the very last one,
Diablo.
not synonyms, antonyms. So this is the opposite.
Oh, you're doing an antonym this
One
time.
antonym.
Ooh.
This antonym is any woman's ground.
No Man's Sky.
Correct.
Oh.
Wow, just killed you in the end. Well, there you go.
Fuck! Why didn't you give me these ones, man?
You got the other one. You did get it. It was just, unfortunate
I
timing.
should have just carried on playing Diablo. My stupid brain, man.
Well, there we go. That's name a game for the week. Thanks, everyone.
Is that your favorite game show, Jez?
It is now that I won. Those last three
I
count.
won. Yeah,
those
whatever.
He won his pride back.
Whatever. It's a very fun game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We'll try and make
Name
him
a
as
game.
dumb,
I like it.
dumb fun.
Dumb fun. I liked it. It was good.
So, yes, so Super Swans, our patron won for this week. So Jesse will try and reach out to him.
I try, but they should reach out to me. It makes it easier because they know
Yeah,
how.
if they're not watching, though, they don't know. I could always send him a message on Patreon.
That would actually be the easiest because a lot of them don't actually have forum.
The forum
usernames,
access.
yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Patreon, we'd also like to thank our patrons who power the vast majority of everything we do, and we are forever thankful for all our patrons. We actually have quite a bit of overlap with like Jez and Rand's patrons. So they must love all our shows, which is very cool.
We should just make a Netflix like subscription service to all Xbox podcasts.
Would you call it Nick Flicks? Oh, yeah, baby.
We have a t-shirt made called Netflix.
No, I found this in a store. It's a Nickelodeon t-shirt called Nick Flicks.
Nickelodeon. That's
Yeah.
pretty appropriate.
I saw it and I was like, I have to have that t-shirt. So yes, we'd love to thank our patrons who power everything we do. They get lots of perks. They get cool merch. We do. John and I do a movie podcast for the patrons, which unfortunately we have not had a chance to do one in June. So we'll try and make up for it and do a couple in July. John's camping has screwed it up this week. If he wasn't camping, we would have done it. I watched Eternals. Eternals. That movie's terrible. Elemental. I watched Elemental last night at the movies. Not bad. Not one of Pixar's best, but not too bad. So next month we will go back and try and do a couple of movie podcasts. One of the other perks of being a patron is that you get to ask community questions that we will read out on our show, which is what we're going to do now. Now, I told them all Jez was on, so let's see if we have some questions for Jez. Okay, community questions. Not Jack. Here are the results to my side game of bets for last week's showcase. While first and second place were tied, we can now definitively say that Nick is the third best at showcase predictions of the panel. Clearly, his leaks need to start including if people are wearing leather jackets or not. Note, leather jackets and experiences were all from Chris Asaki, Phil Spencer, and the Starfield Direct. Celebrities were Richard
Ayoade.
Ayoade?
Yes.
Keanu Reeves and
British
Idris
national
Elba.
treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's the Fable trailer, yeah?
Yeah.
So there's the results. I assume Jesse has it up on screen.
Yes, I do. That's why I was doing my little funny. I'm looking around it because it's so big.
Oh, so you guys tied for first, then I came second. Damn. Also, a quick question for Jez. Who is a bigger hipster, Rand or Nick? I'm not a hipster. I'm like the anti-hipster.
You're a big Macintosh user. I mean,
I don't know.
by default.
Nick's kind of got the hipster hair going on.
And he only uses Mac.
Yeah, and he uses Mac.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yep.
So,
It's because I was a graphic designer and my wife's a graphic designer.
and you're a graphic designer. So,
And he
I have to
loves
say, Nick,
fancy coffee.
I think you've out-hipstered Rand. Graphic designer, Mac. You actually care about your hairstyle,
Fancy coffee.
and you like coffee.
Drink lots of coffee. Drink heaps
And
of
you're
coffee.
Australian.
And I'm Australian.
Yep.
And I'm incredibly handsome.
Australia is just like hipster Britain. So it's like the alt Britain, so
The cooler version of Britain.
well,
But also the far hotter version of Britain because it's way hotter down here than it is in the UK.
and the more being eaten alive by animals version of Britain.
Our winters are like your spring.
Yes.
tomorrow is like one of the coldest days we've ever had. 11 degrees tomorrow.
Oh, that's
11.
beautiful. I'd fucking kill
What?
for 11 degrees right now.
Yeah,
that is
perfect
freezing.
weather.
11
Dude,
degrees.
That's not
shorts.
freezing.
That's
That's
shorts weather, man.
11 degrees above freezing.
Nah, 11 degrees is so bloody cold.
Dude,
that's
that's
like...
that's shorts and a t-shirt weather, man.
Mhm.
That's gorgeous.
Can you
That's
not be silly, please?
That's going out in
Shorts
thong
and a
underwear
t-shirt
weather.
in 11 degrees. That
Yeah.
is
Yes.
freezing. No, that is so cold.
Man, you would die up here. Like
That's
some
51
winters,
degrees.
it's like
That's
minus
perfect.
20 C.
That's 51 Fahrenheit.
What?
Some winters it's been like minus 20 C where I live.
You know, the first week of June,
That gets
which
that's
is
a bit
the-
chilly.
the first week of June, we had like 19 and 18 degree days in June. It was crazy. It was so nice and warm. So mild.
Oh,
It was amazing. Okay.
I wonder how many people get mad that you said that in June, not realizing you're Southern Hemisphere, so it's backwards from the Northern Hemisphere. We've had that in the comments.
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
it's
in the
winter
past.
here.
Yeah.
It's winter here. Okay. Hytham G. Not much question, but a statement. But before I've seen Transformers Rise of the Beast, awesome movie, and still a prequel to the Bayverse Transformers movies, but here is my statement down below. The Xbox showcase was awesome and performed better than the PS showcase. If it didn't show CGI scenes and less gameplay along with new exclusives, if it was a Resistance remaster/remake, Killzone remaster/remake, Twisted Metal coming back, or whatever the PS properties that Sony games could have made a comeback as a remaster/remake and such to make gamers happy, pleased with, and such. PS, any updates on the Microsoft and Nintendo partnership by any chance? Any single sausage from your source, not to sound dirty?
Okay.
I have no idea what any of that was about.
Nintendo Microsoft partnership? Is this another one of your
Yes.
leaks, Nick?
It
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yep.
A very
is.
long-running one. Like the Ubisoft
It is.
partnership.
No, it's only long running because I decided to tell the truth and not just take two possible wins that I could have just lied about and said, yep, that was the Nintendo Microsoft partnership. That's the only reason it's still dragging on. Because I
Okay.
decided to be honest against my better judgment.
Okay.
I
Good
should
way
have
to do
just
it.
lied.
Mhm.
I should have just said, yep, Banjo and Smash. There's the Microsoft Nintendo partnership. There it is. Banjo
You
and
heard about
Smash.
something else beyond that?
Yes, I did.
Why don't you just tell us what it is?
Because I'm not allowed. I got told I can't.
But you
How
can
do
say
you-
it exists.
Yes. How do you
Okay.
all not know how I work by now? I am just a puppet. They are the ventriloquists. I am the dummy. So whatever they say to me I can or cannot say, that is what I say.
And then you messed it up one
It's that
time
simple.
with Gears Collection and get endless shit for it.
Yes, with Gears Collection, I messed up and got in big trouble for that because I wasn't meant to mention the Gears Collection specifically. I was just meant to say a Microsoft franchise is getting the Master Chief Collection treatment. And then I stuffed up a little bit later and mentioned Gears, and I should not have.
People,
Is that
everyone
because
guessed it.
is that because your source just assumes that it's the Gears collection and that maybe it's actually a Fable collection?
No.
No.
No. It was too early. I mentioned it too early, and there was trouble. Microsoft started hunting. Microsoft started hunting for how just something similar may have also happened quite recently with our episode last week.
Naughty
Apparently-
Nick.
Apparently, some people from Microsoft were watching our episode last week and wondered how I knew about the June flight sim collab, the Sea of Thieves.
I
Monkey
I
Island
didn't know a
collab.
I didn't know a damn thing about any of that. So
Really?
I didn't know a
you?
thing. No, I didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, the only thing I knew about was the Xbox, the new Xbox, and Fable, and Avowed. And well,
Yes.
everyone knew about Persona because that leaked already.
Yes, that
That's all I knew.
leaked.
That's all I knew.
And I knew about 33 Idols, and I knew about Yakuza.
I didn't know about that.
If you want proof, ask Tom Warren. I sent him the list. He'll tell you. I sent him the list before the show started, so Tom Warren can confirm
Well,
everything
he was in
that I
chat
knew.
and he was just like, "Can you send me a list?"
Yeah, Tom Warren's like, send me the list. I'm like, okay, so I did right before the show started. So Tom Warren can confirm the stuff I knew.
And
Fair
if
enough.
you want leaks like that in the future, you can hit that subscribe button and you can hit the like button to
Yes.
help this episode out. YouTube likes
I
likes.
expect that going forward, people will watch our prediction episodes a little bit more intently than they did last week. Because I saw someone put a timestamp in the comments going, "This bastard knew all along, and he was just playing with us."
That's
So
awesome.
if you
man.
wanted
Good job.
it, but the funny thing is, it's good that no one watched us because then no one got spoiled on the show. So it works out well. Everybody wins.
They had like
Well,
600.
dude,
Okay.
if you actually spoil the show, though, people will come for you, man. They will
That's why
come
I
for
did
you.
it as a prediction. That's why I predicted it.
Okay.
Because I thought if I do it as predictions,
you can't do that now, like Rand, because half of Rand's predictions keep coming true. So you know, you'll have to throw out some fake predictions if you don't want people to think your predictions are real.
Well, I tried to be smart about it. Like, if I had predicted 33 Idols, everyone would have been like, "What the hell is 33 Idols?" Like, it's a game no one had heard of.
Yeah.
So
They still wouldn't have heard of 33 idols. It's not a thing.
I had to omit some stuff from the list to not make it too obvious. And I also added some of my own hopes and dreams into it, which did not happen. Okay. Next. I don't know how I'm going to say this name.
Just say the actual name.
Peter Bonta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter.
Dear gentlemen, it was really good to see your reactions to the Xbox Showcase plus Starfield Direct. After seeing the Starfield deep dive, what do you think? What do you think? Which game is going to get higher review scores, Starfield or Spider-Man 2? Ooh.
I'm curious because Miles went down, even though I think Miles is a better game. It went down on the OpenCritic and Metacritic because it was iterative. So Spider-Man's going to have to really change things up a lot, as well as still being very good. Because like I enjoyed Spider-Man. I actually think Miles is better. Overall, it's more focused and it was a more interesting story to me.
But it's a glorified DLC, let's be honest.
Yeah. He does
It's
play
glorified.
A lot better.
It's Miles Morales was glorified DLC that they decided to sell as a full price game.
Yeah. So Spider-Man 2 has to really not just up the spectacle, but be that, I guess the word everyone loves using is transformative in a way, just lightly transformative, and really find a way to correctly change up, because Spider-Man was, everyone always compares it to Arkham, and it's a lot like all the old Activision Spider-Man games, just with way better production value. So they need to find a new hook.
Spider-Man's got the Sony exclusive hype cycle behind it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It gets an increase, mate. Gets extra points for that.
But a really good Bethesda
and Starfield,
game.
That's right. It's a Bethesda game, but it's got the Xbox tax now.
So the Xbox tax isn't a tax. The Xbox tax is they don't get the bump. So I think Xbox games are generally,
I don't know.
They're reviewed pretty close to what they should
got the Xbox tax guard against it.
What it will have is it won't get the extras that we see sometimes with other publishers, where you're like that.
I reckon Starfield will get an 85 Metacritic.
I'm like 95. I think if that game pulls
85.
off. So
and Spider-Man with its little boost will get an 89.
The only ones for Sony
What
that
do you
break
reckon,
90 are Last of Us and
I
God
think
of War.
Starfield will get above 90. I think it'll get 90 or something.
If they can hit what they're going for, it's just, I think it's going to grab a lot of people.
I think I'm going to predict exactly 90 for Starfield.
Okay.
And Spider-Man, even the first one, was what, 87? And then 85,
87, I
84?
think 87 or 88.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 89.
Miles was like 2 or 3 points down. So if they bump up 2 or 3 points and get back to 87, I think Starfield would be above that.
I reckon Starfield 85. I reckon.
Now that would be bullshit. Look, I have issues with the Redfall.
But 85 is a fantastic Metacritic score. It's a very, very good score.
If you look at OpenCritic this year, there's only like 2 or 3 things above 90 right now. And you've got Tears of the Kingdom, obviously, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Street Fighter 6. And I honestly do think that Japanese games generally get a little less, they get more leeway on some things when it comes to reviews and scores and whatnot. Starfield won't get that. Spider-Man won't get that. So actually breaking 90 is really hard. Like Diablo was above 90. Late reviews came in, knocked it down to 89. Same thing happened to Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush was a 90-91 for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then someone came with like a late 6 and knocked it down. So that happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have our scores now.
Super chat.
Faisal. The 90 is shocking to Nick because we aren't talking about Mario Rocket League skins. You know that Rocket League on Switch actually has a Mario and a Luigi car and a Metroid car?
Can't see them on other platforms, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't view them on other platforms. You can only view them on the Switch. And the problem is that Rocket League plays horrifically on Switch. It's just disgusting to play on Switch.
Is there any Master Chief skins or anything like that?
Yes.
There's a Warthog and an Armadillo.
There's a Warthog
from Gears
and an Armadillo from Gears.
Is it cross-platform?
It is, but you can't see them on other platforms.
You can't see them on other platforms. You can only see them on Xbox.
Are they blocked by other platforms, or did Microsoft?
I don't know. They're all just generic. I don't know that they ever said exactly why. You just
That's
get a
weird.
I think Sony is the only one that doesn't have any of their branded skins in Rocket League.
It's funny because that was the first thing it was on.
Yeah, I know. It was first on PlayStation. It launched into PlayStation Plus, Rocket League. Big reason for its success. Okay. So, the other two think Starfield's going to score higher than Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's going to score higher, personally. Okay. TornRaptor, a.k.a. Tom Raptor.
Executive producer.
Hi, executive producer. I said Tom Raptor now because I know he doesn't like it, and he just called me a very bad word here. Hi, Jez, Jesse, and Malaka. That's Greek for wanker.
That's Greek. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's Greek for wanker. So that's why I called him Tom Raptor.
I know that from playing World of Warcraft.
What? How do you know that from playing World of Warcraft?
Because Greeks like all like there's for Europe there's German servers, French servers, and British servers. So or English servers. So most Europeans play on English servers, right? Because who speaks German and French? So oftentimes you get when an angry Greeks who think you've done a bad job or something, they call you giant malaka. So.
They call you malaka.
Yeah, that was Assassin's Creed Odyssey uses that word a ton, so that's where I know it from.
Oh, mate, it was in Assassin's Creed Origins, which was in Egypt, because there's also a lot of Greeks in Egypt. Mm-hmm. So I'm walking through Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'm hearing these Greek people talking in the background, going, Yashure malaka. I'm like, what is happening in this game right now? Yeah. It was so good. When I went to Greece in 2018, there were so many Brits there. There were so many British people there in Greece. It was crazy.
British people swarm Greece and
they
Spain, do. And the locals hate it because they're just they just take the piss, They're not very respectful and nice. I think that a lot of the British tourists there. Well, so on behalf of all Brits, I apologize to all Spanish people, and I apologize to all Greek people.
I think most countries around the world have a really bad history with Britain invading, so that only pops in their heads.
Most Greek people are quite rude and belligerent as well.
Hater.
I'll say that. We
are. They don't even work. Like, most of the people that actually work in Greece are like Albanian and stuff. They're not even Greek. The Greeks don't work.
XboxEra does not endorse this part of the podcast. This is the feelings of Nick Baker, a Greek man in Australia.
Oh man, it's funny because you go to Greece and you expect to see like Greek people in all the stores and stuff, but then you see all these other people that aren't Greek talking fluent Greek, and it's incredible. The first time I saw an African person talking Greek, I freaked out. Because I'd never heard Greek coming from an African person before, and it was incredible. And that was before Giannis in the NBA. It's both weird and incredible to hear. It's funny as. Okay, we haven't even got to the question yet. All I did was get the word malaka, and now I'm distracted. Okay, with Matt Booty talking about showing up at other events this year, do you think he is just talking about shows we know, like TGS and Gamescom, or perhaps more Xbox shows like QuakeCon, Xbox Directs, and perhaps even a returning XO? Nick, you're a naughty boy for driving home after the showcase. You should have gotten a few hours at your parents before you headed home. Look after yourself, please. I have to admit, so my parents live about an hour away on the beach in Melbourne. And I started driving home at about 6:30 a.m. after doing the show. And I was fine for like 90% of the drive. But I do admit, the final couple of kilometers, the eyes started to get real heavy. And I'm like, oh boy, I opened up my windows and like got my head out the window to get some fresh air. The eyes started to get very heavy towards the end of that drive because I had been awake for 24 hours. But yes, as you can see, I'm here and I'm fine now. Now, what do we think about? What do we think about the shows? About Matt Booty was talking about. Do you think they're going to be just at like TGS and Gamescom? Do you think they'll do
I think more directs if like things are close? Like if a bigger game is close, like maybe not this year, but for Avowed and Hellblade next year, where they've already showed them at a showcase. Like I think that those would be the more shows. I don't know that to do an XO. I know Phil really wants in-person stuff. He said as much on Giant Bomb repeatedly. So XO would be cool. Try and get us in.
What have you heard, Jez? I know you've heard something. Come on.
I haven't heard what they're doing next in terms of shows. They always have a presence at Gamescom every year.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, they haven't made announcements at Gamescom. Jeff Keighley has some kind of deal with Gamescom to produce their Gamescom Live showcase
opening night
thing.
live.
Opening night live,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So maybe they'll do something with Jeff for opening night live.
Mm-hmm.
They do have because Gamescom's in Germany and Germans absolutely love simulation games and strategy games.
Yes.
So if they're going to talk about Age of Empires or Flight Simulator, it would make sense to do that in Germany, I would expect.
Yeah, they still got
maybe
Age
even
4 for console to talk about.
Yeah, and they've also got Ara History Untold.
Mm-hmm.
I call it Ara History Untold because of the anime connection there.
Ara.
Yeah, Ara. But yeah, don't ask. Yeah, so it could be those kind of announcements, the strategy simulation games, maybe Minecraft Legends DLC, something like that, which I haven't heard a damn thing about since it launched, but apparently it's doing well. I don't know a single person who plays it, but apparently it's doing all right. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, there's plenty of stuff they can do. Like they've got loads of stuff in their pocket they can talk about, and obviously Minecon Minecon will be.
I may have even heard of some stuff that was supposed to be at the showcase that wasn't.
Oh. Like what?
Which Matt Booty alluded to apparently on the couch.
Yeah, talking about how they have things that they slot in, they slot out. They're like, well, we'll wait. Like they waited on
They record
Revolution
the shows
for a
in segments. I keep telling people, I've been telling people this for 2 years. And not just Microsoft, Sony, they all do it. They record sections and they take stuff out, put stuff in, save stuff for other shows. They respond to leaks. Maybe the developer reaches out and says, look, I don't think it's quite ready. Pull it. There's something else we want to show. Like there's all sorts of reasons stuff goes out and comes in.
Oh.
The moment I knew stuff got pulled was when they had a Starfield trailer during the main showcase, despite the fact that there was going to be a direct immediately after. I'm like, why is there a Starfield trailer here?
Well, I think the thought process there was maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to watch the full-blown direct.
Or didn't even know it was happening, too. The people that aren't more tuned in.
And maybe they were just like, a lot of people probably see the hour-long deep dive and just tune out, or maybe they prefer a little trailer.
And that was a good trailer, too.
It was something. Yeah, it was a good trailer.
I don't know.
But I did. A lot of people thought it was odd that they had a Starfield trailer there.
It was odd.
I said they would in the show last week. I said they'll probably have one just to remind people that there's the direct coming up. Because in our little bubble, we all know, and we all want to watch something that long, but a lot of people probably don't, and they watch that and they're like, "I'm sold, I'm in," and that's all they need.
Maybe. Okay.
2 super chats.
Oh, 2 super chats. Okay, we'll do those. Ursel, Halo Infinite Season 4 hype. Y'all gonna try it?
Nope.
Maybe.
What
I still need to complete.
Infection is the big thing. Infection mode.
Infection.
Infection's back.
I'm just like, my thing with Halo is I'm just really bad at it. Like I don't know why I can't play Halo. Like because I play Battlefield and I do fine. Play Call of Duty, do fine. I can win games sometimes. I play Overwatch and I do really well. Like Overwatch is my jam. I just can't play Halo. I don't know what it is.
Halo requires a bit more skill.
Oh, maybe. Like it
does. I've always said it. I've always said 343 makes Halo feel incredible. There's no other shooter that feels as good as Halo.
I can't like. My playstyle is too reckless. I just run out and then get killed. Whereas like you can kind of do that in Call of Duty.
It's a much longer time to kill.
You want to know what it is, Jez? You want to know what it is?
What is it?
It's the time to kill.
Yeah, that really throws me too.
Yes,
like,
that's why I play
trying
SWAT.
To shoot people with the shield.
That's why I play SWAT in Halo. I don't play regular Halo. I play SWAT.
Is that without shields?
Correct. Without shields and headshots are instant death.
See, maybe I'd be better at that. Maybe
you would
because
be.
The whole sort of the sort of back and forth with like the shields and stuff. I hate that. I hate when I shoot someone and the bullet sponge. I hate that.
Yeah, me too. As soon as I discovered SWAT in Halo Reach was my introduction to SWAT, which they now call Tactical Slayer. But Halo Reach was my introduction to SWAT, and ever since then, I have never played regular Halo again. I've only stuck to SWAT, and SWAT is amazing. Yeah,
maybe I should try that then.
Oh, you'll love it. It's that perfect blend of Call of Duty and Halo.
I did quite enjoy Warzone in Halo 5, was it? Where, like, you know where the enemies are coming from, because some people come from one side of the map, the other people come from the other side of the map. But I just find that in Halo Infinite, I just get shot in the back a lot because of my Call of Duty playstyle, and it's hard to break that mentality. I don't know, but I've always said like Halo is important to the brand, and it's kind of a shame how they've done it dirty and done the community dirty.
Yeah, I know.
We had like the crappy TV show for one thing. Which I don't know anyone who likes that TV show. I haven't met anyone who likes that TV show, like either fans or the general public.
I liked half of it.
Okay.
Half of it was good. Half of it was very bad.
Yeah,
One hot stuff bad. Chief stuff.
I think my performance in it was quite good though.
You what?
My performance. No, I am the Master Chief.
Oh really?
Everyone says I look like Pablo Schreiber.
I can see that. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Anorexic has a super chat. Jez, would you be into a PvE Halo mode, firefight?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Like I tell you, one thing I've really enjoyed about Gears was always Horde mode, but I feel like Gears 5 completely gutted Horde mode and didn't really get what it was for. Like they changed Horde mode where it was like, okay, now instead of turtling up in a corner and setting up turrets and doing it that way. Now, like the powers and shit spawn around the map, so you have to move your whole base. I didn't want to play Horde like that. I wanted to like play it more like a active tower defense game. I thought that was way more fun. So I bounced off Gears 5 Horde mode really quickly. But the mode I absolutely loved. I loved this so much in Halo Wars 2 was I can't remember what it's called
Blitz?
now, but it was like they added it in the DLC. Like I can't remember what it's called, but it was basically Horde mode again. It was Horde mode against the Flood or whatever.
Oh, they just called it Firefight, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
It was just fire. Yeah, I played the shit out of that. That was really good.
I loved that mode so much. It was so fun, and I kind of feel like they sent it out to die by making it a paid DLC. That should have been free. That mode should have been free. So everyone who had on Game Pass and Halo, like. They should have all had access to that. That should have been free because it was so much damn fun making a base. And then it was really tough. And I played a shitload in co-op on Mixer. Had a blast. Really fun. So if they added some kind of mode like that in Halo Infinite, like a Horde mode, I would really like to play that. That sounds really cool to me.
Jesse, show that GIF that I just sent into the Discord. Show that on screen so Jez can see it as well. Someone put my face onto Pablo Schreiber, an animation from the Halo show.
Is that old? I think I might have seen that. That rings a bell.
Actually, I'm gonna send it to Jez.
Yeah,
I
because
ain't in
I
the
can't
Xbox
share.
Era
I can't
Discord.
screen share here.
No, I'm gonna DM it to you, Jez. Someone put my face on the chief. I'm sending it to you now in Discord. Have a look at this. That's not Pablo Schreiber. That's me. Can you see it?
That's you.
That's me. Someone took a photo of me and put my face over the chief.
With AI. That's crazy. Maybe you're related. Could you be
I don't
related?
know. I doubt it.
No, I think
I
you might be
really doubt
related.
it.
You should do a DNA test. Maybe he's like your long lost brother or something.
I don't know.
We did miss a
But
super
anyway.
chat from Gary Barwick of Control fame.
Did we?
Yep, I think so.
Oh, yes, Gary Barwick, a.k.a. Control Superfan. Starfield will be going strong when Spider-Man 3 comes out, sadly. Play length is not a consideration for Metacritic. It depends on the game. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Okay. Jesse, brother, how do y'all? That was a hell of a showcase, especially Starfield. I'm so damned hyped for that one. I would say everyone is. I am not. But of course, my buddy Dreamcast guy wasn't. Even his occasional podcaster, podcast co-star Dim, modern vintage gamer, gave him some crap for his awful take on the game. Question for Mr. Corden. Do you think Starfield has any shot at being Game of the Year? Or is Tears of the Kingdom just such a runaway winner, be it deserved or not?
I think yeah. I think it's definitely going to be nominated. It's definitely going to be heavily considered. I think like
Tears of the Kingdom's already got it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tears of the Kingdom will probably win, but I think like you'll see some game journalists who like they're just not into Nintendo games or whatever, and maybe they even just like resent the fact that everyone assumes it's gonna win, so they're voting.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's got a real shot. I really do. But the game of the year winner should be Diablo, but it's not gonna win. But it should be.
But
It
won't.
should definitely
It
be.
won't be.
I really hope they at least nominate it. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah, Diablo should be nominated. It's like the perfect. It's so meditative, just murdering swarms and swarms of demons. It's so nice to play. I played it like I got the Asus ROG Ally, which I keep plugging because it's just so amazing. It's such a great device, and it runs like a dream on.
I
that.
want one. I want one.
I tried to
Dude,
get one
it's-
for review
it's
from
so
them,
sick.
but damn it, I couldn't find anyone to talk to at Asus.
I really want a ROG Ally.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. Like it has its shortcomings. Like you're not going to get the kind of battery life you get on the Steam Deck with with the Steam Deck's low power states. But
Yeah,
dude, it is so damn nice. And if you plug that thing in, you can go all the way up to 30 watts, and it can run games at 120 hertz. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, you can plug that shit into a monitor, and set it up, plug it into a 65 watt charger, and run it to a monitor, and it's basically an it's like a portable Xbox. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
It could literally
It's
be
crazy.
the thing you could review Xbox PC games on for us, Nick.
Yeah.
If you
Mm.
had a dock
Well, that's
for it.
part of the reason I was
So
thinking
damn
of
nice.
getting it, just so I can play PC games on something.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's the most compelling device I've used in years. It's incredible, and I think all the shortcomings are Windows, Microsoft's fault. And I
Yeah,
did speak to people at Microsoft about the Windows experience and how they can improve that for devices like this. And it is something they're working on.
Windows 8 would have been it. That's the irony of it.
I mean, yeah, to some degree. But it's things like, like out of the box Windows, there are things activated on Windows which impact game performance, like memory integrity settings and the virtual machine settings, which are activated on Windows by default, which do impact game performance. So, like, unless you're like familiar enough with Windows to tinker, it's still it's still not going to be as a polished experience like a Nintendo Switch or a Steam Deck will be, but it's so fucking good. If you know Windows and you're willing to learn and stuff, it's so good.
Yeah.
So damn good.
Will it run Rocket League and Fortnite at 120?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it will crush those games at 120.
Ooh,
If you plug it
here
in,
we
if you plug it in.
go.
Yeah, otherwise, it's for
If you
about
plug it in.
50 minutes. But yeah.
Well, if you don't
all
plug
I
it
need.
in, you don't get the 30. You don't get the 30 watts, right? So, like, if you're running those games at like 15 watts, I think they'll still do 60 frames per second. And
Rocket
if you
League
do
will
it-
go
if
higher,
you do-
probably.
Yeah,
That'll work.
probably. And if you do it 720p at 60 frames per second on Fortnite and Rocket League, you probably get to about 2 hours of battery life out of it. But you know, I just when I was traveling, I just planes have power outlets, so I just plugged that shit in, man. I played Hollow Knight for probably like 10 hours on my trip to LA. It was just great, a great experience.
I really want to get one. I can get it for $1,000 Australian.
What's that in
isn't
real
too
money?
bad. Probably about 500 pounds, 600 pounds.
What? Yeah, okay, that's cheap. It's about £1,000 here. The current model.
Yeah,
they're releasing
Really?
They're releasing a lower end model, I think, down the line. The model that's available now is the higher end model, which is the Zen 1 Extreme or whatever they call it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think they are releasing the mid range model, which does
import it from Australia, Jez. I can get you one for 535 British pounds.
Yeah. Well, I got one now. Asus sent me one. You know,
jerks. They never responded to my emails because we're very small.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I'm very aware that I'm like lucky that they sent me one. But honestly, even if they hadn't sent me one and I just got a chance to try one out, I would totally buy this. I would really buy this. I'm recommending it to everyone right now. It's so good.
I really would like one. I'll probably get one if I hadn't spent $1,000 on Zelda.
What?
Yes.
How does that work?
He bought every single piece of Zelda Sword.
I bought every single. Oh, by the way, and I even got this. I got this from the Nintendo online store. Look at that. How cool is that? It's a Master Sword pin.
Wow.
So you're a Zelda fanboy? I didn't know this.
He's a Nintendo fanboy. Anything Nintendo, he doesn't care about Xbox.
But why don't you run Nintendo era?
He wants to.
Yeah, well,
he's like, I'll finally do extra work. I'll run a Nintendo podcast.
I'm working towards something in that realm.
Oh my god!
I bought the Zelda OLED Switch, which was about $500. I bought the game.
You're deep throating your mic, so you're blowing out a little bit.
Sorry, I bought the Zelda Collector's Edition. That was like $190. I bought the Amiibo. I added it up. It was like $900 or $950 Australian that I spent on Zelda.
Everything you could get.
I'm calling you a nerd, but I bought the Lilith statue, which was £800. I bought the collector's edition, which was, I think, £150. So I've spent roughly the same. I bought a Lilith T-shirt, which still hasn't arrived, which I think was like
Diablo is a lot cooler though.
Yeah,
than Zelda.
Oh yeah,
I don't think so.
Zelda's for weebs.
I don't think so. Okay.
Look, Nintendo fans
super chat from Faisal.
Nintendo fans are not cool.
Whoa!
And Rare gifted a membership,
an
XboxEra membership, and Brit got it. Yeah, that's lucky. Thanks, Rare.
It's all random.
Rare's part of the team. Faisal, Jez, I'm thinking of doing Windows on my deck to play Starfield at 10 FPS. Should I try it on SD card first, or go for dual boot from internal SSD?
Well, I would honestly do what I did. I put it on an SD card first, and I was like, we'll try it out on this first. There are limitations if you're running it on this SD card, because the speed on the SD card is orders of magnitude slower than the internal SSD, even if you get like the best SD card that supports it, which is, I believe, like the U3 V2 off the top of my head. We got a guide on Windows Central about how to set that up. But unless you're really into the Game Pass ecosystem and stuff like that, if you're more into the Steam ecosystem, it's not worth doing. If you mostly play on Steam, I wouldn't bother with it. But I'm someone who mostly plays on PC Game Pass because of the Xbox Play Anywhere, cloud sync saves and stuff.
Yeah.
And but the other downside is you're kind of relying on third-party tools a lot. So the tools, the best tool set that I found to use is a toolkit called, I think it's just called SteamDeck Tools, and it's maintained by an independent developer on GitHub. If they ever just can't develop it anymore for whatever reason, like they walk away, you could end up in a situation where something breaks and there's no one to fix it, But you can always roll it back to the Steam OS if you fancy it, and it is a lot cheaper than the Asus ROG Ally right now. And also another advantage over Asus is it does 6 watts, and you can run a 2D game like Hollow Knight at 60 frames per second, no problem, at 6 watts, and you'll easily get like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours of battery life. The low power states on the Steam Deck are truly wizard. I think it's 6 watts. It might be 8 watts or something like that. But it's really low, and it's really, really impressive. Like the custom chip they got in there is really, really cool.
Are they
for
ARM?
2D games? Is it ARM? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember because I know ARM's really good. That's why like the thing Apple's really pushing for efficiency.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head who's the manufacturer is, but it's just really good. Like for 2D stuff, really, really good. But you're gonna hit hard limitations for 3D
ARM.
games. It's not. Is it
Yeah,
AMD?
Yeah. It's x86, 4 Zen 2 cores. Damn, that's really good.
Yeah.
It's really well made.
Yeah, it's AMD is doing some really cool stuff in that space right now. But it's kind of like if you do want to run a 3D game on it, it's going to really struggle with some games. Like I tried running Ghostwire Tokyo on it. I tried running Ghostwire Tokyo off an SD card, and it just rubber banding, and it was a horrible experience. And it was at that point that I put Windows on it on the SSD and wiped SteamOS off completely. But even doing that didn't help. Like Ghostwire Tokyo was completely unplayable no matter what I did. But I mean that's an extreme case because Ghostwire Tokyo is very poorly optimized. I would argue that doesn't even run well on the Asus ROG.
I've got a 7900 XTX and I can still barely stay over 100 FPS in that game most of the time.
Yeah, it's not a great example, but I think like if you want to play a lot of 3D games, Asus ROG is better. But I would try it out. I mean, you can always roll it back. Check the guide on Windows Central, and I will put it on an SD card first to see if it's for you, and if it is for you, then maybe go all the way and put it on the internal. But yeah.
Well, I think Jez answered that question pretty well for you, Faisal.
Certainly something he's had experience with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've fought a lot with my Steam Deck.
Okay. Next question. Still got a few to get through. Omen. Hello, friends. What a great showcase. During the showcase, we learned of 3 Xbox published games releasing in 2024, which is Hellblade 2, Avowed, and Towerborn. That said, Xbox says they're about to get to releasing 4 big games per year. What do you think is the 4th 2024 game, and what order do you think the 4 will release? Don't know what the 4th game is.
So what are the games we know so far about? Avowed,
Hellblade 2, and Towerborn.
Not Avowed. Did they not announce?
Yeah, Avowed as well. Hellblade 2,
yeah.
Avowed, and Towerborn.
When's Flight
What's the
Simulator?
4th game?
It's next year. Yeah, Flight Sim 2020. It's literally called Flight Sim 2024.
2024.
Yeah, so that's the 4th game then, Flight Simulator, right? I would
Probably.
I do
Flight
wonder,
Sim.
like, maybe people are thinking, oh, does Towerborn count? And I'd be, yeah, it should count.
Yeah, that's 4 games. I think some people were thinking that maybe that's a DLC for the Flight Simulator stuff.
Oh,
I did see some people were kind of upset that it wasn't a DLC. I don't know what you guys think. It's
technically a new game, isn't it?
Yeah, it carries
it's a
over
full-blown
all
new
your
game,
and it carries over all your old purchases. But it is a new game. If you want to play it on Steam, you have to buy it.
I think people forget that there was many versions of Flight Sim on PC over the years.
Yeah, this isn't a new thing for simulator games. They do this a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Farming Simulator does it, and yeah.
And they're carrying over all purchases, which is way better than most do. So I think on that end, it's fine. And they can always say it's on Game Pass too. So, like, I think for most, I had originally thought, oh, this is probably going to take over the client, but now I don't because, oh yeah, it is a new game on Steam as well. So you got to buy it again. It's just not going to be free, but yeah. I mean, it's essentially included in our subscription that many of us have. So it's huge.
We think they will probably try and space the games out over a year, but at the same time, I don't think they'll force.
He talked about it on E3.
Studios.
Matt Booty said they do when it's the same genre. They're like, well, we try to space out a genre, but if it's not the same genre, they're less worried about it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's all 4 different genres. There's a third-person action adventure game,
Very different.
first-person game, flight sim, and then Towerborn's that 2D
Castle Crashers
beat 'em up thing. Yeah. So yeah.
Castle Crashing.
Okay,
as a
Shadowgasm.
service.
God, haven't heard from Shadowgasm in a long time. Hey guys, just wanted to ask if Nick's shoulder was okay from all that back padding he did. Fun fact, and maybe I'm revealing too much information.
Yeah.
I actually had an ultrasound on my shoulder the other day because I have been having a lot of problems with my left shoulder. Hurts a lot when I go to the gym. So I've had an ultrasound to see what the hell is going on in here.
Painful
'Cause it
wink
hurts
and
a lot.
shoulder.
I think it's because I sleep. I sleep on my shoulders, like on my front, and I sleep like that.
And you're extremely old.
And I think I've wrecked my shoulder doing that. But yeah, anyway. I fight through the pain because I'm very tough. But yes, anyone who watched our show last week will know that I
Next one. This is a long one.
did a lot of what was in the show.
Oh shit! Kick just acquired Amouranth.
That makes sense.
Really?
Yeah. So that's
The
another
hot tub
100
and
million.
bikini section is gonna take
Be
right
lit.
off now, isn't it?
Dude, this is crazy. This is like more than what Mixer did. They're going all in, man.
Well, and they've
On-
got-
on-
they've got
Mixer,
all that
Mixer went and got Ninja.
Yeah, but not this type. This is way more money. This is like 200 million spent on 2 people now.
200
Yeah,
million.
They both got
Oh my
100, I
god!
think.
And
Yeah.
she's already on now. She's
Oh, yeah.
already got almost 9,000 viewers doing a hot tub party, a pool
It's probably
party.
way more.
Dude,
Their
this is
counters
crazy.
break.
Like these influencers, like they're all multimillionaires now.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
like Shroud and like even like King
Oh my God.
Galathian. or
Why do
Gathalion.
they still stream? Like if I was a multimillionaire at this point, I would just quit. You would not. I'd delete all my socials and I'd just play Diablo.
I got it
all
open up.
day.
Should I
You
put it
would
on
see me
Scream,
every
Nick?
day.
They're playing beer pong
Mhm.
in a pool.
Yeah, this is not new, by the way, Nick. You just haven't watched it. This has been years.
No, I know it's not new. I'm just saying, like Jez mentioned Amouranth, and I'm like, I'm on there, and she's already on there.
This is crazy. Twitch must be freaking out right now. They
Oh,
must
yeah.
be really freaking out.
And they're making like they're purposely making very sexually suggestive noises as they throw the balls into the red cups.
Should I just show it? I've got it
Oh
ready
my
to go.
God.
No, don't show it. Don't show it.
You get demonetized.
Don't show it. Don't show it.
Which is weird 'cause
everyone
YouTube-
can go to
YouTube
Kick and
lets
check
full
it out for
nudity.
themselves. I just sent the link to Jez.
I ain't interested. But fair
Sure
play,
you're
Kick,
not.
man.
Yeah.
Fair play.
It's well, Twitch was probably Twitch was resting on their laurels after Mixer died, and they're like, okay, we win. We can be shitheads as much as we want. And now
Yeah,
another
that's right.
gambling money, and that gambling money is never going to go away. People are going to keep gambling throughout the rest of human history. They're going to keep having money to pay for this, and they're going to do.
And probably stole their code to make their website look
No, allegedly.
exactly the same as Twitch.
Should have potentially allegedly.
Allegedly stole the code. Allegedly.
Just because it looks that way. We have no inside information, and Nick does not speak
Yeah,
for
that's
Xbox
right.
Era.
To be fair, it's
just-
it's not difficult to make a website look like
No.
another website.
Yeah.
It'll be the underlying code that would be up for dispute.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you Kick probably runs on Amazon servers anyway. I mean, it doesn't run on. I don't
Yeah,
think it
isn't like
runs on
95% of the internet run on Amazon Web Services.
Yeah, I think
Doesn't
Amazon.
run on Azure.
No, like
No.
Amazon is the king of video provision web services. So either it runs on Google or it runs on Amazon. I highly doubt it runs on Azure. I should like research
Okay.
that actually. That'd be an interesting thing to find
It
out.
would. It would.
You
Okay.
can buy a real big hot tub now.
Yeah.
I should
I
be a
will
hot
go
tub
back to that
streamer.
stream later on.
There's people who love their bears. You could get some viewers.
I might. Maybe I should.
There's guys on OnlyFans and stuff have talked. It's really hard to make money as a guy. Really hard.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It probably would be. I reckon I might do okay.
That's sexist.
I know.
We
Isn't
should
it?
support more males on OnlyFans.
I think
guys.
we all can agree
let's,
with
should.
let's
that.
subscribe
We
to
should.
some males.
Let's get that going, guys. Let's get the patrons going to support me being on OnlyFans. Let's do
You
it.
could be like the guy who plays Master Chief nude.
Yeah, you want to see Pablo Schreiber on OnlyFans, mate?
Oh my god,
We'll
you
get
could
that
be like a
going.
Pablo Schreiber impersonator.
Yeah,
Dress
So
up like
see
you're
the
in,
Master Chief
X-Men
not
Origins.
wearing much at all.
Can you
Master
do
Chiefs.
cosplay and look like his character in X-Men Origins? God, I can't remember the name. Sabretooth. Yeah.
No, that's Liev Schreiber. That's Ray
Hey, look.
Donovan. Liev
Oh,
Schreiber.
shit, you're right. They look kind of similar.
They're stepbrothers. They're stepbrothers, I believe. They're half brothers or something.
Same last name, so I'm gonna guess the
okay.
dad.
Yeah. Probably. Good old Collingwood. Happy Solstice Wafters. A question about journalism. Recently, Kotaku put out an article about the main protagonist of Star Wars Outlaws being a female person of color, and that there should be more main characters like her. Also, I'm referring to a tweet out of Nick's out of context comment about game reviewers made on the podcast, and to comments made by middle-aged gamer guy about how stories are written but are titled to attract two sets of readers. Jez, are you worried about the state of journalism in the video gaming sphere? A lot of this commentary is designed to fuel the so-called console wars, but we all know that these are nothing stories that are designed to garner clicks. So if writers are assigned stories by editors whose only bottom line is to tot up those valuable viewing figures, how are writers meant to develop as journalists so they can get the experience to find work in other media? Sure, not every writer wants to be the next Jason Schreier, but I'm sure they can do better than clickbait fodder. I think you got into journalism at the right time. You are able to develop professional ethics, and while your outlet does farm clicks, Windows Central is primarily a news and review outlet, and doesn't stoop to the fodder mentioned before. I'm pretty sure you are respected among your peers, which is why you have built up such a good reputation. Dietary habits notwithstanding. Please note, I am not including writers such as Giant Bombs, Jeff Grubb, Tom Warren, or The Verge. Do you share the low respect for games articles I have outlined, or is there things I am missing out on? Also, Jez, what is the grand strategy game that is being developed by Oxide Games? And Weeboo to Weeboo, why do you say it that way?
Weeboo?
Weeaboo. You know the Weeaboo meme?
Oh,
Weeaboo. Yeah, Weeboo.
That was a long question.
He makes some
Oxide
long
Games. Oxide Games is developing Ara History Untold.
Are they?
Yes, they are. That's Oxide's making Ara History Untold. But the question about journalistic ethics and stuff, like, there's a lot of stuff about the journalism business that people don't get, and people are sort of honestly conspiratorial about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no editor. I'm a managing editor, but I don't sit there assigning stories to people. I don't tell people what to write. You know, I don't sit there and say, oh, you should write about this. It's gonna, you know, generate outrage clicks or whatever. People write what they want to write, you know. And honestly, I think the person who wrote that at Kotaku wrote it because it's what they believe in. And honestly, a lot of the time, you know, Kotaku is not a website that pays people per click, you know. So it's not like there's well, I haven't worked at Kotaku, so I don't know how it works. But in my experience, and I work for Future Publishing, we have 70 brands, which includes Game Radar, PC Gamer, all this kind of stuff. And we are, as far as I know, Future is the biggest games brand specialist media outlet on earth, as far as I know. And not a single one of our brands works in that capacity, where it's like, you have to write something you don't truly believe in because we know that it's going to get outrage clicks. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of people actually do believe the things they write and put out there, even if, generally speaking, some people won't agree with it, and there is like a perception that there is like an outrage bait mentality about it. I do think some websites probably do lean in that direction intentionally, like Game Rant, for example, and
the
like,
Gamer.
Yeah, like some of the Valnet sites are very sort of sus when it comes to some of this stuff. And I haven't worked there again, so maybe they do genuinely believe some of the stuff they write about. But yeah, I've heard some things that suggest otherwise.
And when you're putting out 100 articles every 24 hours, it's going to be a bit sus.
Yeah, it's a bit sus, but at the end of the day, when it comes to journalism and writing and stuff like that, I think I honestly don't read any websites. I just focus on what I do and what I want to do and the information I want to put out there and the kind of website I want to make. We don't get clicks from writing reviews, really. We don't get clicks from writing news. We write the news to inform people. Where we get clicks is guides. Like, You know, guides is where you get clicks for on Windows Central and PC Gamer and Games Radar and IGN. It's always the guides, right? Like that's the stuff that's going to get you your evergreen content, especially with games like Elden Ring, Skyrim. You know, these
Fortnite.
big games. Yeah, not so much Fortnite, but
no, Fortnite has a lot. I'm telling you now, Fortnite guides.
Not a deep game.
Guides to what? It's not a deep game.
Because every season there's new challenges, and some of the challenges are really tough to get.
Yeah, and
so
that's not
people
evergreen
Google
because
them
those
and
end
see.
after the season. But like the biggest article.
The thing is, the Fortnite audience is looking on TikTok for that kind of information. So you know, not so much a traditional website. But anyway, that's where the business model lies. It's guides. It's like recommending products and stuff like that. So all the other stuff we do, that's oftentimes just because we love doing it. Like reviews, like if we stopped doing game reviews completely, it wouldn't affect our bottom line at all. I like it would probably actually help us if we just stopped doing reviews completely. We do reviews because we care about doing reviews, and devs like reading the reviews, and the feedback helps inform devs like what's good and what should be improved and stuff like that. So it's a huge discussion, you know, about why some outlets behave the way they do and why others don't. And I think some of it's culture, and some of it's like Windows Central is a good 70%, I want to say, maybe 65% British. So a lot of the American culture war stuff just doesn't really filter down to Britain in the same way. So like oftentimes when like there's some like American stuff going on, a lot of the time, I don't know, some of the British writers maybe feel uncomfortable to comment because we don't live in that world. We don't live in that. We don't, you know, like stuff like gun crime, for example. There's no guns in Britain. So what point would it have for a British person to comment on anything to do with American gun crime, other than to think like, oh, that's just crazy. You know, we don't have guns here, so we don't live in that world. We don't have those feelings about that kind of stuff. That's just like one example, right? So it's different website, different cultures in the teams, different countries who are making the teams and stuff like that. I would just say, like, don't take that stuff so seriously. Just like let people write what they want to write, and just if you don't agree with it, just ignore it and just focus on. Don't attack the people that are writing this stuff. Don't make it all more toxic than it already is. Just move on and just ignore the stuff that is annoying to you, and just support the outlets that you do like. That's what I do. I don't read any website except for Windows Central, and I just focus on trying to make Windows Central as good as it can possibly be. That's partially because I don't have time, but yeah, that's my roundabout way of talking about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, again, Jez is answering these questions very thoroughly, which is good. Last question. Azuwizu. Hello, Mr. Enigmatic. Though Nick is more hard to interrupt than interpret. Jesse, a male associate or fellow member of an organization, aka brother, and Jezablo, and soon to be Jezfield Corden. I am currently at my native country after a long time, and wanted to gauge the vibe of the city by listening to some radio. Unfortunately, my family had disposed of all the radio devices, and none of the modern phones support radio. I was left with only one option: to revive my old HTC Mozart running Windows 7.8. To nobody's surprise, the phone is still good to use. The tiles make the phone feel alive, almost like it is inviting you to play with it. The Zune interface is so clean. And some of the little details, like positioning the address bar at the bottom, the hub, made me look at my Android phone like my parents used to look at me when my neighbor's kid got a higher score in their exam than me. All this left me a bit sad and imagining what my phone could have been. So, Jez, in case you are ever making a summoning circle to revive Windows Phone, you can count on my candle. Not a euphemism. Oh yes, the question. I have a simple one this time. Why is it that we can't have good things in life? P.S. Listening to Come Undone by Duran Duran on the local radio in my old city on my old phone was the high point of my week. It made me feel like a hopeful child again, and I wish the same fate to all my brethren. That's not... Come Undone's not even one of Duran Duran's better songs. Like, come on. Duran, like, hungry like the wolf? Like,
I'm too young for this conversation.
hungry like the
I'm not.
wolf is like a classic.
I'm old.
And I'm hungry like the wolf.
If you,
Mate,
you,
Windows-
you probably heard
I
you
mean-
probably heard it in GTA. Pretty sure it was in one of those.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
know.
Yeah.
It may have been in GTA.
I do like 80s music. I just never really checked out Duran Duran. Maybe I should. You should both give me some recommendation.
You know what freaks me out about Duran? So back in like 1981, I want to say, they released a song called Girls on Film. That clip.
That's
and
Duran
this is
Duran.
19... Sorry?
That's Duran Duran. I know that song.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I
Yeah.
didn't know
Girls on Film.
that. Yeah, that one.
The clip to that song has full nudity in it. In 1981. And that's a music video. I'm like, wow, they could not do that now. I'm surprised they could do it in 1981.
Everyone was on a lot.
Are you
of
serious? I don't think you're paying that much attention to music videos.
Yeah,
if you think
there's a
about it.
lot. I mean, especially in the age of a lot of.
I'm
them just being
talking
on
nudity,
YouTube.
nudity. Like
Yeah.
you see women's breasts in that clip.
Yeah.
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 That doesn't
Ah,
happen
ah,
now.
Yeah, it
Yes,
does.
it does.
No, it
Oh,
doesn't.
happens a lot.
No, it
Really
doesn't.
does. Oh, it does.
What?
It does.
Yes, Nick, it
does.
does.
There's scantily clad men and women, not full nudity.
No, there is. Have you never seen a Rammstein video?
There's like full on hardcore.
Yeah, but Duran Duran's not Rammstein. I'm talking about like more commercial artists now.
Mm,
You don't see full nudity.
I guess.
Dude, you do.
No. But anyway, Windows Phone is the best and always will be. And it's
True.
still sad that it's gone.
It
I
is.
still can't get my iPhone to the point where the contacts are set up as well as Windows Phone used to set up contacts.
I'm gonna say
I
I miss it.
Can't you just sync your Outlook account to your Apple account contacts? That's what I do
You can.
on Android.
But what I'm saying is the way, I mean, you'd know, the way Windows Phone set up people, I love the way it integrated your social media profiles in as well.
Oh yeah, like like the people.
It
Hub,
was
yeah, I
so
remember that.
beautiful the way it did it, and Skype
Yeah.
and Twitter and Facebook. It integrated all of it fully into the contact. It was just
Yeah,
incredible. Like
It was really
if you
good.
wanted to do a photo for the contact, you could either take a photo, choose a photo from your library, use the Facebook profile photo, use the Twitter profile photo. It was the
Well,
way
I
it
think-
did contacts was amazing.
Yeah. I think part of that is because Google and Amazon see Facebook as a big, nasty competitor. But I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Microsoft's quite a big shareholder in Facebook. I think they've got
Yes.
like 8% ownership of Facebook or something like that. Like it's quite a big stake. So
Yeah.
Microsoft and Facebook have always had like this more close relationship. That's why Microsoft chose Facebook to offload Mixer to, right? But yeah, Google sucks and Apple sucks and Windows Phone is dead.
I'm telling you, I've never talked about this with Jez, and we've got him on, and we're on a Windows Phone tangent. I am of the belief, as someone who worked in retail at the time, in phone retail in 2005, 2006, 2007, I was there just before the iPhone was revealed and announced, and I know what the popular phones were before the iPhone came along. HTC, people don't realize, HTC was a big player in smartphones
They
up
were
until the
huge,
iPhone
man.
came along.
They were huge.
And the
Everyone had
HTC Diamond, the HTC Diamond was like the closest thing to being, quote unquote, the iPhone before the iPhone came out. The problem with the HTC Diamond was that it was running the stupid old Windows Mobile, which was where they tried to port desktop Windows to a screen this big.
You had to
which
use it
was
like a
just-
stylus to poke the start
Yeah, a
menu.
stylus. Yeah. I am of the firm belief that had Windows Phone, the way we all know and love it, existed back in like 05, 06, and the HTC Diamond had that tile style Windows Phone, mate, we'd be looking at a very different smartphone market right now.
Yeah, we would be.
People
Apple
forget
might not
the
even
first couple of
exist
iPhones
as
were
we know
not
them.
good. They were pretty bad until like 3 or 4.
The iPhone 4 was where it really took off, like exploded with the iPhone 4.
They just nailed the whole developer and app store market, and like, you know, this concept of like these little applets that cost like a couple of dollars. They They really nailed that.
Mm.
And what can you say? You know, they were first to it, and you know, Microsoft was super arrogant about everything at the time. Like,
Yep.
Steve Ballmer was notoriously like, "Oh, what's this dumb device?" You know, and it's really bit them in the ass because a lot of the problems Microsoft has now as a platform would be solved by having their own mobile platform. You know,
Correct. Yep. Very much so. You pair the HTC Diamond with the good Windows Phone, and there's every chance the iPhone doesn't exist right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that Diamond, my God, they used to fly off. We used to sell so many of them. The HTC Diamond, like everyone loved that phone because of how just beautiful and sleek, and it would have been the iPhone before the iPhone had it had proper Windows Phone on it.
Oh well. Did we answer his question? I don't know if we actually answered his question.
No, I don't think. I mean, he just said, "Why can't we have good things in life?"
Oh, that was his question. Well, that's a deeper philosophical debate.
It is
about existentialism, which I don't know if we've got time for right now.
And capitalism, I reckon.
Yeah.
And by the way, Nick, if you were wondering about like nudity in music, if you ever are you into Miley Cyrus or Rihanna or Janelle Monáe? Well, that's why it's hard to find them clothed lately.
Really?
What about that Doja Cat I keep hearing about?
Doja
She's
Cat.
naked a lot, right?
Yeah.
Not naked. They're close.
No, they are full on naked.
Full naked.
No, they're full naked, Nick. You can, I promise. Really? Like the inside of the CDs, like yes, they're full naked.
I'm talking about their film clips though.
Yes, no.
I'm talking about their music clips.
Yeah, go watch Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. Full naked.
They do like explicit versions, and then they do like MTV friendly versions.
So you get the meant for TV version where you literally just see everything but, full on nudity, and then there's the explicit version, I promise you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I just remember as a kid seeing that Duran Duran clip and going, "Wow, there's women's boobies on the TV." Like with girls. I remember I couldn't believe it.
There's a Bjork video from the early 2000s where she's fully frontal naked as well.
Yeah. It's art.
It's art, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just we in America are prudes, but you guys in the other countries,
It does crack me up, by the way, in Diablo, how there's gore left, right, and center, and murdered people, like piled up bodies. They've all got perfect underwear. Yep. It's like, did the cannibals forget to take off their underwear?
No, they ate all those bits and then they didn't want to show that. They were ashamed.
Yeah. Like the cannibals in Diablo are prudes and shit. I do think that's kind of funny. That
American-made games
weird
and American audience.
Cultural issue. Yeah,
we've been going more and more conservative on the nudity stuff lately. It's been disappointing. Not on the gore, just on the nudity.
Yeah.
Don't chop any head.
Have you played Blasphemous?
I have.
No,
a long time ago.
That has a ton of pixel nudity in it. I was really shocked. I was like, oh my god, this is basically pornography. This game, like pixel art pornography. If this had been on like the Super Nintendo back in the 90s, the Sun would have written a hit piece on it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's it. I think we answered all the questions. I was just watching Amouranth keep going on kick just then. She's still going. Aiden Ross is on there too.
Who's that?
I don't know. Isn't he some other streamer?
No, he owns it. Aiden Ross owns the platform.
Kick?
Yes, he owns Kick. He's a co-owner, Aiden Ross.
Really?
Yes.
Isn't he a little bit problematic?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's why.
From what?
Okay. That's why I snagged the XboxEra name on Kick, but I don't ever plan to use it.
Okay. Very good. Well, that's everything. That's the end of the show, as John would like to say. We'd love to thank Jez for making time in his very busy schedule to come on. Thanks, Jez.
Just playing Diablo, man.
That's all I'm going to do.
Thanks very much for having me. You're lucky because my sleep cycle is completely fucked right now. I got up at we can swear on the show, right? I got up at 7 p.m. I think today, so I'm wide awake right now, and it's 2 a.m.
It's 11 a.m. for me here. 11 a.m. Sunday morning.
And I give up my Saturday evening every time.
Yeah. So I'm going later to my in-laws for my birthday. They want to make a dinner and whatever for me for my birthday. So yes, that is what I'll be doing later on. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. I think we got to about nearly 400 people, didn't we?
Yeah, it was pretty high. I think it was over that for a while.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I know we don't get the numbers that everyone else does because of our awkward time slot.
We get a lot of VOD watchers, so thank you very much, VOD watchers. We'll end like 2,000 to 3,000 and then jump to like 9 to 15. So it's very appreciated.
Where do I send my appearance check? Invoice. Sorry.
I was about to say what you're paying us. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Wrong word.
great.
No, my invoice.
I think we're gonna have Rand on in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, like you wanted us both at the same time, but like I'm pretty sure I'm visiting family next week, so
I'm gonna have to figure out.
I think next week we may have one or two of the devs from Planet of Lana on.
Oh, nice.
One of them is actually Australian, so it's a good time for him to jump on. So he's fine. It'll be 8 a.m. for him, just like me. But yes, I believe. Oh, it's look. I don't love it, but it is what it is. So yes, so thank you everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Jez, for jumping on and making time for us. Thanks to Jesse for holding the show together and it not falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone have a safe week. We will see you all next week, hopefully with the devs of Planet of Lana. That's about it. See you all next week. Ciao for now.
Rock and roll, baby.